Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not
We will
relevant.
bring the jury.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy, do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy
They
there.
got the wrong guy, and the dog was biting him.
He roughing him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
9 out of 10 judges prefer watching the Recovery Addict live stream in their courtroom.
The fireworks are not done.
Now we're doing commentary on the case.
Dati bih Anglican police versus Latino.
Oh, for Trump's sake.
I didn't ask you to interrupt me.
Is that correct?
All right, good morning, welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict. It is fabulous to be here on this podcast Thursday. I might say it's a chilly podcast Thursday, and it's getting colder for all of us pretty much. Unless you're like in, well, pretty much everyone. It's just getting colder. It's getting colder. We did a quick inventory of things we own and things we need for the upcoming ice storm, which seems to have like now solidified over us as far as the forecast goes. And I already made one run to the store. I need to make another. We need more natural gas, so we need to fill up some propane tanks. We probably need some gasoline in both vehicles, fill those up. And I guess toilet paper was overlooked, and now it might be too late. So, wrong answers only. What do you guys use for toilet paper in an emergency? No, I think we'll find some. It's okay. No worries on that one. All right. Thank you all for being here. It's wonderful. It's wonderful to have you all here. Good morning. Do have some sad news. I do need to pass along. I have something to add to my long list of failed businesses. Just found out today that my e-bike dealership has been shut down, has been closed by the manufacturer. I was rejected. I'm not sure if my sales numbers were not good enough. I'm not sure if it was. Well, I think I know what it was actually. I think when I told them I would be recommending any bikes but theirs, I think that was the last straw. It's hard to close a business. It's hard to take a part of you and, just shut that door and say, I'm done with this. I'm going to move on in a different direction and hope that something else will come about. And that you guys know my love for e-bikes, especially how much it beats running. And I thought that this would be the way that I would be the e-bike guy in the corner with the headphones. And it was short-lived, I admit, but in that little bit of time, I had built up my hopes that there would be something magnificent that would come from that. We were going to change history. We were going to take the whole industry by storm. We were going to go places where no e-bike had gone before. And I was going to lead that charge with a fully charged e-bike. But I guess it wasn't meant to be. At least not with me and Pucky Puppy. Yes, Pucky Puppy is the brand that for a brief minute I had a tight relationship with. I was one of their dealers. I was the go-to guy for any potential customer to ask any probing question they had about the expansive lineup of dog-named bicycles. I would share my experience with how little weight I had lost because the bike did everything for me. It was a dream come true for a moment. And then, almost in a blink of an eye, I wake up and the whole thing is gone. The bike shop's closed. I'm returning the spare tires that I had ordered, anticipating that people would need them. The last remnant of the bike shop is right here. And after today, it's going in the garbage. Goodbye. Goodbye, e-bike shop. May you rest in pieces. Now, if I can get myself together, we have to actually start the day. I'm sorry for your loss. That's actually e-bike size bike tire. There, we've got some fun news. That was a little tongue-in-cheek. Sorry about that. We have to celebrate some birthdays before we start court, so we need to right away get to it. I'm sorry, everybody. Stand up, go from that to singing happy birthday. Wherever you are, stand up, deep breath, shoulders back, project your voice to the back of the room, blend your voice with a neighbor, and warm up with me if you will. La 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 la. There it is. All right, we're coming together here. We got it. April, Bram, and Joshua. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear April, Bram, and Joshua. Happy birthday to you. April, Bram, and Joshua, there are many wonderful days, but today is your special day. I realize there are a million places you could be and a million people you could have celebrated with, but you chose to be here with us. The privilege, pleasure, the honor, the joy is ours. Hopefully we can turn that joy back to you, make your day just a little more specialer. Begin by helping yourself to free pancakes at Denny's, IHOP, Village Inn, Waffle House, McDonald's, Tammy Dunlop's House, Andy's Grill, Bob Evans, and Cracker Barrel. Larme, what's your son's name? Quick. Happy birthday to Larme's son. Do we have slow-mo turned on? We've asked her to answer really fast. She's like, I can't. I'm sorry. I almost fell out of my chair this morning, if that was a thing. Turn off slow-mo. There we go. Larme, go ahead. Caleb. Okay, we're going to sing happy birthday to Caleb on the end. I'm sorry, Larme. That must have been stressful. Here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Caleb. Happy birthday to you. Drum solo. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Norman. Happy birthday to you. Whoa, oh my goodness. Drumming and singing is not my specialty. I should stick to one band member's position at all times. All right, happy birthday to everyone who's celebrating today. Free pancakes for all. Drum solo finish. All right, there we go. Happy birthday to all. All right, we are about to kick everything off, and let's see. Can you see me now? You can. That's wonderful. All right. And can you see this now is the question. Yes, on all counts.
Happy birthday.
We're good.
You look good.
We're good. We got everything put together. All right. Happy birthday. Buffer says, I have an announcement. Please use the birthday form in advance. Please. That's Red Pen and Josh together. I think they came in unanimously to say that. Now we have to, Greener's calling out his fellow coworker. We have to give away the internet. Internet belongs today to Kim R because she was first in chat. Being first in chat comes with its prizes. It's punishment. And we're going to focus on the punishment side. Kim, we are punishing you with internet ownership because you were so punctual in chat today. You were prompt. You were perfect in your attendance as well for quite a while. Yes, everything IP related is your responsibility. And honestly, you might think twice about being first in chat as this ice storm moves across the country because the duties of the internet owner are going to exponentially grow. Let's just put it that way. It might not be what you want, because we're gonna put you through the ringer as far as keeping the internet up and running. All right. Good morning, Judge.
Good morning, everybody. All right, are we ready for the jury, or do we have any preliminary matters?
I have a matter that I
Yes.
wanted to take up relating to some of the evidentiary stuff we did yesterday. May we approach?
Okay, sure.
Yeah, let's start with a sidebar. Why not? Let's do that. Quick sidebar approach. All rise for the jury. Defense is wrapping up, I believe, today. Possibly might finish today. Is wrapping up their presentation of evidence. And I think I nailed that. Perfect. First try. All right. Joe says, all right, I realize watching court without your input isn't the same. Sometimes I get lost. Yeah. Are we buffering? Is the internet already having trouble today? That would be terrible. Let me tell you what my plans are going forward through the ice storm. Fully charged Jackery. The Jackery can run my channel in a pinch. It can run my channel using the Starlink and just a few of the items on my desk. I can't plug everything in. Don't know why that was giving me a little heartache there, but all right. We also have a dual fuel generator, which has right now probably enough fuel for a day. Not much more. We're going to get a little bit more. And it can power a lot of things. My wife is campaigning for not powering my studio. She, for some reason, thinks we should power the freezer, the refrigerator, and yes, our gas stove, which does require 110 voltage to ignite, or 110 voltage to, if the power goes out, it has an auto shut off to shut off the gas, which is like stupid, I think, because we got the gas stove so we could cook if the power was out. So I'd have to like power it just to light it, and that would be okay. But yeah, there's no sound, muted. Some people have sound. The internet's doing the thing. Check the camping section of your store for toilet paper. There you go. Not muted here. The internet is being a little bit weird this morning. Okay. All right. I have to tell. Somebody needs, I'm not sure if I can make this call. Somebody needs to tell Phil from TYO Toys that the sponsorship deal's off. We had big plans. He has big new channel. I have the new bike store. We were going to be like tight. I would be his transportation of choice for going to court with one of my e-bikes. He would live stream the whole thing as for advertising for us. I don't know how to tell him the deal's off. So if you guys can find a nice way for me to broach that subject with Phil. Because I think he still is going forward. His business has not failed. The Hidden Phil True Crime, or Hidden Phil, his hidden channel is still moving forward, I believe. But remember to e-like for e-bike reviews. Hidden Phil Investigates. That's what I said the first time. I was just, it's hard to remember when the URL is so difficult to type. I'm not muted. Of course, you wouldn't know that. We have decided to go in a different direction. Send an edible arrangement. I think at least a sticker. so you could remember what could have been. Yeah. All right. So what's frustrating is I'm running a longer delay than normal to compensate for some of the YouTube issues they've been having on the live streams. I'm running about a 10-second delay on my side. And then it's still having issues. So sound is coming in and out. Okay, it's a YouTube issue. Jamie Latorno, can you collect my unemployment? Thank you for all, thank you for all you do. Jamie, thank you very much. 33 months of support, OG status, and about to get a new color courthouse as well. A couple months away. Life was stationary with an e-bike. All right, let's see. He's already collecting unemployment as 3 people. Greeners, you're going to get me investigated. That's not what a true friend would do. All right. If you missed this morning, your sound was out. I'm sorry. I'm not going to redo the sad news about the e-bike dealership, which is no more. We're shutting it down for good. It was a fun idea. It was a fun dream while it lasted. I'll tell you how it ended if you want. I got an email late last night from Mia at Pucky Puppies. I'll tell you the brand now that my private information is off of it. Had an email from Pucky Puppies, and it said, thanks for your call. We understand that you are upset about something, basically, but we think it's because you wanted it there. So you need to contact the right department to have it removed. 14 minutes later, which was at 12:48 a.m., I got another email from Mia, Pucky Puppies. I don't know. She's working the night shift, obviously. And she's like, we've contacted the right department for you and we've removed your information. So this morning I went there and I went to the website. It's actually pulled up on my screen here on my desk. And I checked. I wanted to make sure I was actually removed. And they did. They removed my dealership pin on the map. They removed my address and phone number and email address, personal, cell phone, everything that was on there. And I noticed that they also removed the other.
Are we ready for the jury then?
Yes,
the
ma'am.
other North Carolina address at the same time. Both of us had the same name. It was never my name on the map. It was always this guy named Don King, which I'm not sure if it's the Don King, but he had a dealership in Raleigh. And they put his dealership also, Don King, at my address, my phone number, my email address. Because they did that because I had never actually signed up. I never gave them my name to sign up. And so they just thought, oh, North Carolina, it must be this guy. And they put me on the map twice as him. But now, in shutting down my store, Don King has also lost his store. I'm sorry, Don. That was not my intent. I did not mean to take down everyone, burn the bridges, may the bridges I burn light my path. That was not my intent with shutting down the e-bike business. So I hope that apology is sufficient and your lawyers don't come after me for killing your business. All right. Poor Don. That bailiff is alert as anything. Wow.
Thank you. All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's my understanding from Deputy Johnson that all of you are available for tomorrow. Is that correct for testimony?
We're working Friday.
All right, your next witness.
Officer Casanova.
Officer Casanova.
If this guy doesn't come in dancing, he's doing the wrong thing.
Your Honor, can the main screen be released if it isn't already?
It is. There's nobody.
Okay, thank you.
It's fine.
Now
I swear or affirm to testify truthfully in this case under penalty of law. Thank you.
I have many names. I'm a man of many names, many talents, mostly names though.
Morning, Officer Casanova.
Morning.
I'm just going to ask you a few questions, but the first question is I wanted you to identify the picture that's in front of you. Do you see a picture?
I have a blank screen.
Okay.
Now I have a picture.
Okay. Is there any way, based upon just that snapshot of your body cam video, as to whether this is your video?
I can't say for certain.
Okay, let me move forward.
I'm getting some weird noises.
And just stop me if you see anything that makes it clear it's you.
This does appear to be my video. I recognize my watch.
Okay. Sir, I'm going to go ahead and play this video.
You have to identify it.
Oh, sorry, Your Honor. That would be identified as Defense Exhibit 86, I believe.
I have an 86.
87.
87. Do you wish to have it in evidence?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objection?
Yes, Your Honor, we should approach.
Okay.
Okay, they have an objection. I'm going to try to figure out what's up with the weird noise on the audio line. Looks like it's on their side, because when they shut the mics off, the noise went away. So that's something, that's troubleshooting 101. Figured out that it's not on my end. That's a quick fix. So, who is this guy? This is Officer, well, let me pin the message that Red has so kindly presented for us. There we go. Officer Casanova is all we know. Defense does a poor job at identifying witnesses. And the judge is forgetting to have them identify themselves either. So we're about to possibly see a video, depending on the objection from the state. If it's a body cam, I'm thinking it's probably coming in. Unless there's like some hearsay issues wrapped up in it. Man, poor Dawn. I'm looking at the map. North Carolina is not represented at all by Pucky Puppy anymore. The whole East Coast just... Oh. You know what they did? They got rid of all the brand ambassadors off the dealer page. They fixed their website. I got everyone's dealership deleted who was a brand ambassador. Oops, sorry about that.
So 87 will be introduced into evidence without audio. Does this need,
Sir, can you...
I'm sorry, does this need to be under seal? I don't know what it has on it.
I don't believe it does, Judge.
He does not go.
Correct.
Judge, I hate taking the risk, but I do not believe that Officer Casanova goes upstairs in the house. I believe that he remains on the first level.
Is that correct, Officer Casanova?
I never entered the house.
Never entered the house. Okay, so.
Maybe we just approach about one other thing that I might see on there.
It's a fun issue. You guys are having audio issues. I'm hearing some audio buzz from the court, which does not sound good. Let me see if we can resource the audio.
We're going to enter it without audio, and we're going to make it under seal for the moment. Okay, thank you.
Well, now we can't hear or see it.
State your name and spell your name for the court reporter.
Sure. I'm Robert Casanova, Casanova.
And you've indicated that this is your video based on your watch.
Yes.
Okay, and we're going to watch this without sound,
Okay.
okay?
And so we're just going to
From
sit
time
here
to
and
time, I
stare at
might
people.
stop it and ask you a question.
Yes,
Okay?
sir.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, I'm trying to fix this audio. Give me a moment. It's definitely coming through on their side. We're now watching a body cam video, and we might get occasional questions from the defense through it. Okay, you guys aren't hearing that little scratchy sound at the bottom? Let me power cycle my roadcaster. I'm going to be silent for a minute. Hang on. So those sounds were my roadcaster turned on and off, and it continued in my headphones. So it's not my audio inputs. It's not a buzz. It's like a low. Yeah, that's it. Okay. I think it's a bad connection on the audio. I'm going to try to reroute it. Other sources have it just louder. It's definitely coming from the court. Yeah, it was worse there. So now you can hear it. So it's quiet in my ears, but other sources have it louder. I think Court TV and Law and Crime both have louder crackle. Well, here's what I'll do. Let me tune it out. Gonna take that down. I've got some of it tuned out. It's happening at a specific frequency, and so I can actually mute that frequency and get rid of a lot of it. All right. Let's pretend it's ASMR. Easy peasy. We're watching body cam, which the defense has sort of objected to. It's allowed in over their objection, but there's concern that it needed to be sealed. They say, no, it doesn't need to be sealed. He never went in the house, but there's a chance that them bringing the victim out of the house might have been caught on the body cam, so they sealed it anyway. And then defense says, oh, wait. The prosecution says, wait, there might be something. Sorry, defense says there might be something that's captured on here, so we're going to listen to it without sound. So the jury can't hear this. They can see it. And he's just on the outside of the house. What in the world could defense need to show that happened on the outside of the house that's so important? The prosecution objected. I said defense. I apologize. Phil, we need to talk. The big plans we had together. I'm chewing on the pool cable feed. Can you hear it? Yes, it's distinctly. Big plans we had together regarding your new channel and my bike business and the sponsorship and the collaboration and me providing the free e-bike that you were going to use to go to court and everything. I have to nix that. I have to pull the plug. I found out I lost my dealership overnight. Puppy brand of bikes no longer has me listed as a dealer. They've pulled the rug right out from under me. It was a surprise. Well, it wasn't a surprise to me actually, but considering our last interaction and how that went. But so no e-bike is on the way. I apologize if I may have led you astray. You're going to have to find alternative transportation to go to court. I expect you to sue me. I honestly, Phil, if I were you, I'd probably do the same thing. I'd probably sue me for the value of the bike, which in my opinion is about $6. So yeah, I'm sorry. I know you had plans. I had plans. The phone calls, the long nights, talks on the phone, dreams of the big time. It's all gone. Sorry. And in the process, Puppy eliminated every brand ambassador from their website, not just me. Yeah, we had talks.
Sir, we pause for a second there. Is that you arriving at the house?
Yes, sir.
Okay. At 8:56?
I'm feeling a little transparent. So, in all this time, the officer has been driving to the scene. That's what we've covered so far. He's now arrived at the scene.
If I can ask the court to clarify for the record, counsel referenced 8:56. That would be the marker on the video, not the time of day.
Right, the time of day actually says 8:14.
It was 8:56. I was showing the marker on the video, Judge.
Just the marker.
Reference for the officer.
Right, and the time on the video of the actual time would be 8:14.
Okay, thank you.
Officer, at this point, as you're walking toward the house, were you given any direction as to what your duties were going to be at the scene?
Not at this point. I just also, asked Officer Batani, sitting on the sidewalk there, if he needed any help. And then I think that's Officer Hernandez, I asked him if he had crime scene tape, and he advised he was going to get it.
Okay. I don't know how long this video is. They haven't given us any indication. At this point, had you been given any instruction as to what you should do?
Yes, my supervisor had asked me to take over from, at the time, Sergeant Training Bell.
Okay. We didn't pay for silent movies today. We're watching a silent, sealed movie. We're watching someone watch a movie. If this isn't the next level of court watching, I don't know what is. And he has no reaction. So, I was hoping it'd be a little quicker than this, especially considering the fact that this officer never went into the house. So his interaction with the crime scene is minimal, although he might have some interaction with the defendants. The audio has been muted, so unless he saw something spectacular, like a shooting star or something on his body cam, I don't know what we'd be doing this for. Don't rub it in, Fat Moro. It's still sore. It's too soon. Worst reaction video ever. Maybe he's the guy who went and looked for the blowout kits, the emergency, the chest seals. We are on defense, Miss Mary. At least we think we are. They're watching that body cam video right now. And by watching, I mean they're not even listening to it. This body cam video was entered under seal, so we can't see it. The public can't see it. The audio was also muted for the duration of the playing in the courtroom, so the jury can't hear it. It's the epitome of informative. That's what I want. I was going to finish my sentence there. Sorry, I'm writing a quick email to somebody. It's a slow start to court today, for sure. Nobody can hear it. Nobody can hear this, unfortunately. Because had this been something funny like him driving around for a long time trying to find the crime scene, we'd play some music behind this, but not knowing what's happening here, not knowing what the question's going to be, if suddenly the next question's about one of the victims, Christine getting removed on a stretcher from the house, I don't want to play music up into that. So out of respect for that, the jury can see it, but that's all they can do. They can only see it. Jennifer says, can you quickly learn how to make balloon animals or maybe do a little song and dance? I've been prepping a little number just for you guys. No, I'll pass for now. I dropped my almonds in glitter. It's pretty nuts. Let's see. Ari has different standards than the rest of us. The other body cams ran about 20 minutes. So I think we're about halfway through that right now. Maybe a little more. I think we're about 15 minutes into the video. Appreciate the super sleuths who tipped me off to additional communication required on my part towards my former bike manufacturer. I'll take care of that. Goes a tutorial on your 3D printer. I'm intrigued. I can show you what I did yesterday. I told you a lady reached out to me. She saw I was holding a 3D print that my kid was playing with or showing off. And she reached out to me. She said, I have one of these new fancy, I think they're called Twist, T-W-I-I-S-T, insulin pumps. And it's about this size. It looks like this, but it has a little little tube coming out of it. And she says the clip that it comes with to clip it onto, like a belt or something is, it's great. But if you clip it onto your belt using the included belt clip, when you sit down, any pressure on the bottom just pops the thing off. And she said, can you design a clip that holds a little bit better? So I've been working on that, trying to get a better barb design, a better grip to get her, so her insulin pump doesn't fall off. And my son's helping me on that. Brendan's watching intently. Interesting. This officer Casanova, he says he never went into the crime scene. He was there at the scene. He was a responding officer, but he never went into the house. Keeping in mind what the defense has shown us, or in their open, their main push is to discredit or to attack the au pair in any way they can. That is the only testimony against him in some areas. That's all there is the au pair's testimony. So unless this gentleman had an interaction with the au pair, I don't know what good this video is. And if he did have the interaction with the au pair, what good is the video without any audio? Mama drama. I was tempted to buy a 3D printer and claim to hubby it was for homeschooling needs. Is it something you find to use often? Would you use it for homeschooling? Oh my goodness. Mama drama, yes. I'd love to get you a link if you'd like to buy a certain model. I have the Flash Forge model, which is a 4-color printer. It can have 4 different colors of filament installed at once. It can only print it one at a time, but it can switch automatically. We find that our older kids, and by older kids I'm talking about high school age, maybe 15, 16-year-olds and up, are really, really excited about it and really enjoy it. So we're printing 5 to 6 different items a day right now. They are. And I'm loving it. They're doing some design work. They're building some of their own stuff. The younger kids are going on to like printables.com or thingiverse.com and just downloading someone else's design and printing that to make little cool toys or decorations or, that works. This is their first like functional design, fix a world problem issue. Laurie says, are you the town go-to for weird needs? Townspeople, go see Ari down the street. You can do anything. Yes.
Sir, is this the end of your contact with Juliana Perez Magalhaes?
I believe I check on her a couple times, but for the most part, yes.
Okay. In the car?
Yes.
So he is interacting with Juliana, the au pair. The town calls me when they have special live streaming needs, and if they want to live stream a parade in the middle of winter, I do that. My voice is really low. Check 1 2, check 1 2, check 1 2. Is that better? Check 1 2.
Sir, ultimately, when she left the scene, was it in your cruiser or in the cruiser that she's sitting in right now?
I'm not sure which cruiser she was in, but it was not mine.
Okay. You know that it wasn't you.
Yes.
What, other than checking on her, were you given any other duties while there?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Other than checking on her, which you testified to, were there any other duties that you began after she was in the car?
Yes, after a short while, I took over traffic control duties, restricting vehicle access to the roadway.
Your Honor, this is 2545. And that's, those are all my questions for this officer.
All right, so just to be clear, then you would just want 87 in evidence up to 2545, correct?
Yes.
All right, and that'll stay under seal then, okay. All right, thank you. Cross-examination? All right.
No questions.
Is this witness subject to recall?
No, Your Honor.
All right, you're free to go, sir, thank you.
Thank you.
Your next witness?
Checks his list. Not sure who's left. Might have a couple.
Your Honor, may I just check with Detective
Sure.
Byerson? There's Sergeant Brian Ames.
Sergeant Ames?
Sergeant Ryan Ames up next. You can make lots of useful things with a 3D printer. Basically anything you can print out of plastic. PLA, ABS, PETG, lots of different types of plastic which have different temperature properties, flexibility properties, strength properties. I'll send you the link for the printer that I have, which we really do enjoy.
Do you swear or affirm to testify truthfully in this case under penalty of law? Thank you.
Okay, I'm putting the affiliate link for the 3D printer in chat.
Good morning, Sergeant Ames.
Good morning, sir.
And are you a sergeant?
I am.
Okay. Where are you currently? What's your current station?
I'm in the IB, sir. Internal Affairs Bureau.
And
Ooh, this could get spicy.
during the period of time, February 24th, 2023 through the end of 2024, where were you assigned?
I was assigned to DFS in November 2024 to February 2025. Before that, I was a street supervisor.
Okay. Sir, I'm going to have you take a look at some exhibits. Here, and I'm going to use the
Okay.
overhead if I can.
It's fine, we'll switch over to that. You just have to hit the button on the top. Okay.
Sir, can you see that document?
I can, sir.
Let me just straighten it out. Are you familiar with that document?
Sure. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sure.
I'm specifically looking at, and I'll just put my pen in there, at this particular area. Is that something that you authored?
I did, sir.
And so the sign out is Ames. That's you?
That is me.
And this is your title here?
Yes, sir.
Now, what is it that you're doing here with regard to this communication?
Your Honor, I'm going to object to the witness reading from the item. It hasn't been identified or offered in evidence.
I don't think you,
It
I
was
don't think
asked
the
to
question
read.
was to read it.
No, it was not to
Okay.
read it.
All right, I'll overrule the objection at this point.
What were you doing? This appears to be an email thread. What were you doing?
Looking at the email, it looks like I received something from Lieutenant Joshio, and I was sending it out amongst the people who work for me. It looks like I CC'd my captain.
Judge, I am going to object. He's reading from the letter. If his recollection of this email is such that he can testify to its contents, then certainly.
So it'd be a foundation objection.
Yes,
Sustain that objection.
And sir, this is an email that you authored and you sent on to your colleagues. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Your Honor, I'd move this in as a Commonwealth's Exhibit number 88.
Any objection to that?
No.
Okay, 88 in evidence, and we can
Now, I would
publish
just
it
like
to the
to
jury.
ask you another question.
Now it's
The
published.
people that you were saying you were writing to were people that were within your section, is that correct?
It looks like I CC'd my commanders and two of the detectives that work for me.
Okay, and the two detectives are both named Brendan Miller?
Yes, sir.
And is one of those detectives the digital forensics analyst for this case?
There are two Brendan Millers?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and he's obviously in your section.
In the Brendan Banfield?
Is this officer in your chain of command?
No, sir.
Okay, what?
Your Honor, counsel's making reference. He said this officer. I'm not sure who he's speaking
If you
about.
could
I was
records.
just pointing, yes. I won't point, sir. David Giacchio, it says Lieutenant David Giacchio.
He was not in my division.
Okay, and yet he's communicating you regarding, what is it he's communicating about?
An executive summary.
Okay, is that Brendan Miller's executive summary?
One of
Do
the
you
Brendan
recall?
Millers.
I don't recall, but looking at this, I would have to say.
Judge, I'm going to object to any further answer. He does not recall.
No, overruled. You can finish answering. That's fine.
You can finish answering, you were saying, but looking at this.
It appears to be an executive summary.
Okay, now, was there a particular executive summary that Brendan Miller completed that was at issue while you were there in cyber security?
There was no executive summary issued while I was there. I was only there for 4 months, sir.
Okay. Was there, were you aware of any disputes with the executive summary, either within your division or another division?
I know that executive summaries are written on every case.
Please answer the question.
How about this case? How much contact did you have with this case during your time there?
With this case, not very much contact at all, sir.
Okay, and so what we're seeing is this extent of your contact?
Pretty much, sir.
Okay. Sir, I'm going to take 87 off, and I'm going to have you look at,
Judge, I believe that was 88.
I'm sorry.
Is that correct? He referenced 87.
Oh, sorry.
That was
Did I
88.
say-
You just did 88, yes.
okay, then that was 88 that I took off.
Right.
I'm going to identify what will be marked as Offense Exhibit 89. Can you see that email?
I can.
Okay. And is that appear to be an email that you forwarded on?
It is.
Actually, you know what? I'll just let you tell me what it is.
That's good because you can't lead. Why he
It
doesn't
looks
ask?
like Lieutenant Joshua forwarded a proffer to me.
Okay.
And then I forwarded on to my detectives and CC'd my supervisors.
Okay, and you said a proffer, or are there two proffers there?
I don't know. Normally the system works where you get two different angles. I can't recall what.
Okay.
If that's one or two.
So you never examined those proffers?
No, I'm sure I clicked on them before a meeting, but I don't recall if it's two separate parts or if it's just two angles.
Okay, and where you sign off as Ames, that's you, correct?
Yes, sir.
And Sergeant Brian Ames, all of the things relating to that were correct as of the time of this writing on?
Yes, sir.
November 8th, 2024?
Yes, sir.
And you're CCing, I assume, superiors?
Chain of command, yes, sir.
Chain of command, okay. And Brendan Miller and Brendan Miller are the two people that this is directed to?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now they're in your chain of command. Would that be an order that you're providing them?
Careful here.
Here, I move this in as Commonwealth's Exhibit 89.
Any objection?
No.
All right, 89 evidence.
If we can have that published.
I mean, yes, I guess since I'm their supervisor, if I send them that, I guess it could be perceived as a command, but that's not really the way it works. It's their detectives looking at a case.
Okay. So let me ask you a question about that. By saying their detectives looking at a case, you're saying you leave the detectives alone to do their thing?
I'm saying that I had 4 months there. I wasn't really caught up to speed on digital forensics. That's not my specialty. Like I haven't been trained in that.
Okay, so you're a supervisor for the people that are trained and experts. Okay, and
let's see this.
As a sergeant in your chain of command, are you being ordered to do something by the lieutenant from homicide?
I think I'm being asked to look at this. Like this is the way information sharing would happen. Is we're not homicide detectives over in that squad. We're kind of we're a support unit over there. So that's how the information would come in.
Okay. So if I understand you correctly, cyber investigator, criminal investigations, cyber and forensics bureau is a support bureau for homicide?
Well, specifically digital forensics is a support bureau for all the other bureaus when they have digital evidence.
Okay. And is it common for the lieutenants from other bureaus to communicate with you in this way, to have your detectives do things?
No, there's a lot of back and forth. Like I kind of, when I was in that position, I kind of feel the calls, send stuff up the chain of command, figure out what the detectives think are best for the case, stuff like that.
Okay, so you're going up the chain of command. Is it something related to the communications that you're receiving, or is that something that you would do with every communication?
Since I was a newer sergeant at the time, it was my understanding the expectation out of my command was to link them into pretty much everything that I was doing.
Okay, in the form of, in the immediate moment you received an email?
If I was doing ESRs like they got them, if we had a case that was unusual, or if we had anything, like I said, I was a newer sergeant. It was my understanding, the expectation on me was to forward stuff up my chain of command. That is correct.
Okay, so this is commonplace, what these emails show?
I would say at that point, when I was in DFS, me being newer, I looped them in on a lot of stuff.
Okay, thank you. Your Honor, I've moved 89.
89 is in evidence.
Okay.
It's already been shown.
Sir, I'm going to have you look at what will be marked as Defense Exhibit 90. Do you recognize that?
There was a lot of looping in that went on. Everyone talked about it, and then a bunch of people got reassigned. And the people that got reassigned all had a different view of the case than the current prosecution.
I know you send a million emails
Yeah,
today,
I
but
send
do
an
you
awful
recognize
lot.
this particular one?
Yes, this is my email, sir.
Okay, and this, and I'm pointing with my pen, appears to be you. That's the way you would sign off?
Yes.
And this would be all of the information that's accurate as to where you were working at the time?
Yes, sir.
And what about this up here? What was that? Do you have any idea?
I don't know without seeing it. I mean, based on the context here, it looks like it's a timeline from Lieutenant Joshua.
Okay.
Related to the proffer.
Do you know, and let me just call your attention to, and this is 89, correct?
That's 90.
90. Your Honor, I moved this in as Exhibit 90.
Any objection?
No, ma'am.
90 in evidence and published.
Sir, I'm going to put 89 there next to it.
Okay, not published.
89.
Oh, he's put 89, okay.
I didn't ask you about, with regard to 89. Do you know what that is?
I mean, given the context of this, it appears that it's a timeline related to this case.
Okay. And I'm going to have you look back at 88. Do you know what the attachment was on 88? And when I say do you know, I'm asking, did you open it or did you look at it or anything like that?
I mean, I'm sure I looked at it, but if you're asking me right now if I know what that is exactly, all I can say is I can assume that it's an executive summary that has to do with this case.
We will need to revisit this document in light of the proffer.
Now, on 88, you've added Brendan Miller's, I guess, B1 and B3, they're called?
Yes, sir.
Okay. On 89, you added Brendan Miller, and then CC'd your command staff?
Yes.
And on 90, I don't see Brendan Miller. Would that have been forwarded to them, or is this just specifically for your command staff?
That's just for my command staff.
Okay. And so there wouldn't be an additional email to show what you sent to Brendan Miller and Brendan Miller?
I don't believe so, given the context of this. I don't believe I forwarded that, but I don't know.
This appears to be dated November 7th, 2024. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And let me go back to 89. this was dated November 8th, 2024, correct?
Yes, sir.
And number 88 is dated November 8th, 2024 as well, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now I'm going to Sir, do you see that on your screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and same questions. Is this how you sign out?
It is, sir.
Okay, and this information is all correct?
No, that is, maybe I didn't change my,
signature.
Change my signature line at that point.
Okay.
I don't know exactly when my first day was up there.
Okay.
But that was my previous position.
Okay, and that's your email, correct? You authored that email?
It is.
Okay. And in this, just to point out a few things, November 8th, 2024, and it's to your command staff, not to the Brendan Miller and Brendan Miller. And there's an attachment, and that's the same, appears to be the same attachment as number 88. Is that I can show you 88 again if you'd like.
I mean, it appears the same, but I couldn't tell you what it is.
And this email is from Lieutenant.
I'm going to object to the leading.
Who's this email from?
I object to leading, and I object to the continued characterization of the items in the email that the witness has indicated he does not recognize and cannot tell the court or the jury what they are.
I understand. As to leading, I'll sustain leading.
Who's this email from?
Appears to be Lieutenant Joshua, sir.
Okay, and nothing's changed about his position or your position since we looked at 88, 89, 90.
Where can I get one of those clocks?
I'm not sure why my title line is like that. I don't know. I believe at this point I'm in DFS, given the fact that I'm writing emails to that chain of command. I don't know why my subject line is different.
That's fine. As long as you can identify that as your email, that's fine.
That is my email.
Your Honor, I'd move this in as Defendant's Exhibit 91.
Any objection?
Yes, Judge, I'd object. It contains statements made by a party not testifying would be hearsay.
All right.
Your
I
Honor,
assume that's a hearsay objection?
Yes.
Okay.
Your Honor, I would just identify that for now.
You just identify, you don't want to put it in evidence?
I won't put it into evidence. I'll put it into evidence when I call the next
Okay,
witness.
so 91 is not in evidence. Okay, next question.
I don't know why they don't ask for hostile witness privileges. Even hostile witness doesn't mean they're mad at you when you're fighting with them.
Now, Sergeant Ames,
it's just the
in
enemy.
your training as an investigator, are you the type of investigator that follows the evidence, or are you the type of investigator that follows a theory before the evidence is developed?
Me as an investigator, I go with evidence.
Okay. As an investigator, when you question individuals that may be suspected of a crime, do you let them just tell you the story without challenge?
Objection is to leading.
All right, stay as to leading if you want.
What, if anything, do you do when you question a suspect? in terms of their story?
I mean, I have a conversation with them, sir.
Okay. And if the conversation isn't consistent with the evidence that you have, how do you handle that?
I mean, if I have the opportunity, I clarify it.
Okay. And in clarifying, what is it exactly that you're doing when you have a dispute with, or a conflict with what you know versus what the person's saying?
Can you ask that again, sir?
When you have a situation as an investigator that you're trained to be, and the facts as you know them are different than what the person is saying to you in the story or whatever conversation you're having, how do you handle that?
I mean, if I have the opportunity, I follow up and ask questions that I need to know the answers to.
Okay. And would there be any reason that you wouldn't have the opportunity if you're talking to them?
No, I mean, defendants, if you're talking about a suspect of a crime, I mean, they don't have to tell you. You can ask the questions, they don't have to tell you if that's what you're asking.
Well, I'm just asking, say, let's assume that nobody's claiming the Fifth Amendment. There's just a statement based upon what the evidence you know. What I'm trying to get at is how do you get to the evidence to determine if what you know is correct through the person that you suspect is the criminal?
If you're asking what I do, I generally ask questions till I understand.
Okay. And in terms of the types of questions, how do you do that, or how were you trained to do that?
Judge, I'd object just to relevance at this point. I'm not sure where we're going with this witness.
I think it's relevant to the investigations that would go on in any case, in any criminal case.
I'll sustain the objection as to relevance to this case.
In that situation that we were just talking about,
same objection.
Would you challenge an individual or not challenge an individual?
Same objection, Judge, relevance.
I'll sustain the objection.
Okay, I'll move on, Judge. You've seen Defense Exhibit 88, 89, 90 have been moved into evidence.
Yes.
No.
91 is been identified by you, sir. Were there any other additional communications, either telephone or meetings relating to the subject matter of these three exhibits that you know of?
This has been so long ago now, I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, there quite possibly could be another email or text. I don't know.
Okay, I'm just asking if you know of something. I'm not asking for you to speculate.
I don't know.
During the time frame you were there, I think you said February 25 was when you left?
I believe it was February 25.
Okay. Had Brendan Miller, the digital forensics detective in this case, had he been transferred at that point?
I think he transferred either right before or right after I left.
Okay. Did you have any role in his transfer, whether administrative or making the decision?
No, not making the decision. I think my role was figure out where Miller wanted to go initially and just be a first line supervisor for him.
Okay. And would that include, would that first line supervisor role, would you have a lot of contact with him?
I mean, I had contact with him every day.
Okay. And would the contact that you had with him be related to the Banfield case?
If things came up, yes, I would have contact with him about the Banfield case, but it wasn't, it's not like I'm doing forensics or anything. If questions come up, I generally shoot an email at my chain of command or stuff like that. Okay. I mean, I'm not advising him how to go through data or anything like that. It's my job was, you know, I had other things that I was doing, budgets and distributing cases, new cases coming in.
Okay. Did you have anything, were you a decision maker in his transfer?
No.
Do you have any idea why he was transferred?
I wasn't brought into those conversations. I pretty much was told that the decision had been made, I wasn't involved in those.
Okay. And was there anything that you were told about the decision that was made?
Calls for hearsay.
Not that I can remember. I mean, there was, right, it's a police department. There's rumors going around, but I don't know what would make the difference. But I don't know where the rumors would stop and what. I don't think I was told specifically why he was being transferred.
Okay, well, I don't want to put you in that spot, so if you don't know. Were you aware of how the experience that Brendan Miller had, the one that was transferred?
I knew that he was I can't think of the terminology, certified, yes, I know that Miller is experienced.
Okay. And he'd been there for how long, do you think, prior to you leaving, or prior to him being transferred?
I don't know.
Okay. In terms of your making the decisions of assignment of cases, where would he be in the decision process for you?
I don't know what you're asking, sir.
Would he be one of the more experienced ones that you would assign to, or one of the less experienced ones?
The other Miller was kind of the person who I bounced what we were going to do. He was the other Miller was the more senior Miller on the squad, so I bounced most of my decisions off of him.
Okay, and then he'd assist you with that?
He would, yes, he would assist me in that.
And do you know how long he had been in the digital forensics section?
No.
Okay.
I know it was a while, but I don't know.
Okay. Judge, I don't have any further questions.
All right, cross-examination.
I'm going to leave 91 there if that's okay.
Oh, that's fine.
Good morning. How are you?
Ma'am. How you doing?
All right. So just so we're clear, you weren't in digital forensics very long, correct?
I was not.
Okay. And you didn't get involved in any of the actual digital forensics involved in this case, correct?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And you weren't involved in Detective Miller's transfer?
No, ma'am.
And you weren't involved in Detective Miller's work on this case, correct?
No, ma'am.
Okay. These emails you've been shown, you just passed them on, is that correct?
That is correct.
They didn't require any specific action of you, correct?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and those requests were to examine the evidence in this case in the context of new evidence that had been received, isn't that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Did you change, distort, or hide any evidence in this case?
No, ma'am.
Did you direct anyone to change, distort, or hide any evidence in this case?
No, ma'am.
Thank you, nothing further.
All right, any redirect?
Sir, I appreciate your answers. Did you feel as though anyone was suggesting that you distorted, changed, or did anything to evidence based upon these emails?
No.
Okay. Thank you. I don't have anything.
Is he subject to recall?
No, Your Honor.
No, ma'am. All right, you're free to go, sir. Thank you. Have a good day. Your next witness?
Yes, ma'am.
The state,
Excuse me?
Detective Leah Smith.
in 10
Detective
seconds,
Smith?
regains all the ground that the defense clawed for over 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Y'all are sending me pictures of stores that are completely sold out of supplies for the winter storm. I'm thinking of all the things I still need to buy. Currently, my preparations include charging the e-bike. Probably won't do well in an ice storm. Just saying. Can always 3D print toilet paper. I didn't know you could 3D print a translucent photograph. Like a picture you can light from the back and it shows up. I'm going to try that next. New witness, maybe Spice?
Do you swear or affirm to testify truthfully in this case under penalty of law? Thank you.
Good morning, Detective
Good morning.
Smith. Can you please state your name and spell it for the court reporter?
Leah Smith, Leah Smith.
She is a detective.
And what division in the Fairfax County Police are you currently in?
Homicide.
Okay. And were you in homicide during the time of February 24th, 2023?
I was.
Okay. So you're familiar with this case, the Banfield case, and the Juliana Perez Magalhaes case?
I am.
Okay. And as a homicide detective, you're trained in certain investigatory techniques, correct?
Yes.
What are those, if you could just tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
So we are gatherers of facts. We will respond to scenes, talk with patrol officers who have already arrived. They'll give us a briefing of the case. We'll identify people that we need to talk to, places we need to go, and gather other information and track down what information we have gotten, and if we need surveillance video, or go to stores and track back movements, identify people to talk to. We'll canvass a neighborhood. We'll talk with crime scene to figure out what needs to be done in their capacity and how that will work in our capacity. We will just gather all the information that we can and put together to the best of our ability what happened in a particular incident.
And how do the theories of cases emanate from an investigation?
So the best course of action when you're investigating a case is to collect facts and information. You don't have theories to begin with. You have an open mind going into it because you don't know what happened. And then you try to gather all of the information so that it gives you a clearer picture as to what happened.
And in terms of gathering the information in order to get a clearer picture for, I guess, the entire squad, what mechanisms do you utilize in order to make sure everybody's on the same page?
We discuss what we've done, who we've talked to, what information we have gathered or captured. Crime scene will let us know what they have. We usually have a detective who is with crime scene as they're doing their work, and they'll pass on information. If we have other entities doing work on our behalf or assisting us in any way, they'll provide information, and then that will be discussed amongst the squad so that we all have a full picture of what we know.
So beginning with February 24th, 2023, had you developed any theories on that day based upon what you saw at the crime scene?
No.
Okay. Give the ladies and gentlemen of the jury as to kind of what the timeline is for any theories that you may have had.
Personally?
Yes, as an investigator.
So I did not, and don't have or don't create theories as I'm investigating a case until I have all of the evidence that we can collect. And even then, a theory of the case and how it's going to be presented in court is really something the Commonwealth's attorney is going to do. They're the ones who are going to present it. So we will give them all of the facts and all of the information that we have, and whatever theory that's going to come from that is something that they're going to present to it. We do make a determination if there is probable cause to get warrants for somebody in a case. So in this particular case, I did not have a conclusion until we had all of the evidence in the room.
Okay.
The blood evidence and all of that stuff, that was really understood.
Okay. What was the time frame on it, acquiring all of that information in order to potentially have theories? If you were
those pieces came in toward the very end of the investigation, okay. A full understanding of the sequence of events that we could tell and understand in the room that came toward the very end.
Okay. But in terms of the hard evidence that's done, like DNA, fingerprints, digital forensics, when is the evidence available in order to arrive at conclusions or rule things out or any of those sorts of things?
That's a sliding situation. So things are submitted to the lab and you might get information and lab sheets back in different times. It's not all given to us at once. And so having that portion of the investigation, you might submit something and then realize that you need to submit more things, or the lab will only take a certain number of things, and then you do a second submission. So then your lab sheets will come in as they come in, kind of in a longer time period.
In the decision process amongst the homicide investigators, is that just within the room of homicide, the actual investigators?
Let
me see if I can articulate that a little better. You've just described the gathering of evidence and the discussions. Would that be with the homicide detectives, or who else would be included in that?
It could be anybody who's involved in the investigation. We do briefings with all the entities that are part of it. So it could be computer forensics, it could be crime scene. Our supervisors are there. If we're having, so it could be different meetings over the time period of the investigations. There might be different people who are present during those discussions.
And is it, would you describe the homicide group as being the investigators and the supervisors in another way?
The homicide detectives are the investigators, yes.
Okay. And just so it's clear for the jury, the chain of command going up, the supervisors, they're not investigators, correct?
They are not investigators, they are supervisors.
Okay. Did there come a time when supervisors were suggesting theories to the homicide investigators in this case?
So we had a briefing within the first week of the incident where we were discussing everything that everybody had done and the information that was collected. And our supervisor at the time told us there were two theories in the case and we needed to get behind the right one.
Who was the supervisor?
Okay.
Lieutenant Smuck.
We found the spice.
Who was in the room?
The homicide investigators, the detectives.
Okay, were there any other people?
I don't recall if there were victim services or advocates or our crime analyst or others who might be there during a briefing when we have just had an incident.
Was one of those theories catfishing?
It wasn't stated what the theory was. It just said there were two theories and you need to get behind the right one.
Okay, at some point in order to get behind it, you had to know what it was. When did you find out?
I'm not sure who said exactly that it was catfishing, that was what it was. That's just what I had begun to understand and hear from other people.
Now, did you or any of your, well, actually, I can only ask you, what, if anything, did you do, given what you just testified to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury about your methodology? What, if anything, did you do or say after hearing that?
I told Lieutenant Smuck in the room full of investigators that at this point in time, nobody should have a theory in the case, that we are still at the very beginning and we should only be investigating and gathering facts and information.
And how was that received?
There was no response.
And did this meeting end? Did the conflict between your statement and the theory that was sitting out there continue in conflict after this meeting? Like in future meetings?
I would say that the investigators on this case knew to investigate with an open mind, even though that might not be along the lines of what the supervisors might have wanted us to look at, how the case to investigate a particular line.
Okay. And did there ever come a time, I know you said at the end of the case that the catfish theory went away?
Objection leading, objection, facts not in evidence.
As to leading, I'll sustain. As to leading.
When, if at all, did the theory of catfishing go away from this case?
I don't know.
Was that then, well, did it ever go away?
I don't know.
Okay. And would that be for you to know, or would that be someone else within homicide?
Judge, I'm going to object to the form of the question. I don't think go away is clear enough. I mean, obviously, we're here on a catfish theory.
What's your legal objection?
Judge, a form that is an unclear question.
Overruled. Go ahead. You can answer. Remember the question.
Right. Would you just mind repeating the question?
So what I'm trying to determine over the lifetime of the case, was the catfishing theory ever disregarded or put to the side?
No.
Was there...
That was the wrong answer
during
for him.
the life of the case, excuse me, sorry, was there periods of time where the homicide squad was not supporting the catfish theory?
So everything is on the table. I wouldn't say that it wasn't. We explored all options, and that was always on the table.
Okay. And when was it that in your mind catfishing was confirmed or negated?
It was toward the end, I would say, that once we understood the full
For the investigation, catfishing is maybe how you got to a point, but what happened in the room, in the bedroom, that is really what you need to figure out. That's the determination of who would be charged in the crime of murder. So once you understood all of that and what happened within the room, and then you have the other evidence of it coming forward and through the digital forensics and the interviews and all of this, that decision was made on who to charge for it based on the forensics evidence.
And you charged Juliana Perez Magalhaes in October of 2023, correct?
Yes.
So was it concluded at that point?
She was charged for her involvement in the crime. So she wasn't charged with Christine.
Right. And so was it based upon her recantation that Brendan Banfield was charged?
No.
In terms of the catfish theory, actually strike that, Judge. I don't have any further questions, Your Honor.
All right, cross-examination.
He flubbed it. He ended with the state's soundbite.
Good morning, Detective.
Good morning.
It was terrible.
So you've told us that you conducted your investigation in a manner consistent with following the evidence. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. You explained to us that theories were certainly discussed, but that they did not drive how this investigation was conducted, correct?
Ultimately, no.
All right. Counsel asked you about this meeting where you were told and detectives were told that there were two theories and you needed to get behind the right one. You challenged that, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Did that statement impact how you investigated the case?
No.
Did you see that statement impact how your coworkers investigated the case?
No.
Your investigation was focused on who killed Joseph Ryan and Christine Banfield, correct?
That's correct.
And you followed the evidence in your investigation, and that evidence led you to charging decisions, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Juliana Perez Magalhaes was charged because you were able to prove that she shot Joe Ryan. The evidence supported that, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And Mr. Banfield was charged when? What was the turning point in your recollection of when Mr. Banfield was charged?
When we got the blood evidence back.
Thank you. Nothing further.
All right, redirect.
Detective Smith, were you ever feeling pressure to follow a theory instead of evidence in this case?
I did not.
You spoke out about it, correct?
Yes.
Did you feel pressure by command after you spoke out about it?
She looks at prosecution.
No, I did not feel pressure. I know what I have to do as an investigator. I know how to investigate, and no matter what they thought or the theories they wanted to put forward, that was not how I was going to investigate or provide mentorship or counsel to other investigators on the squad.
Did you raise that with other investigators, the appropriateness of command staff suggesting theories?
Yes.
And did you address that with the group?
Individually, as a group, yes.
And who was it that was applying the pressure to you?
Whoever was in charge at the time. At the beginning, Lieutenant Smuck, who made that comment in the first time.
After March 24th, March 24, 2024.
It would become from Lieutenant Giascio and Bruce. I think at the time it was a Captain Bruce.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
All right, is this subject to recall? No?
Yes.
No? All right, Detective, you're free to go. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, since we started a little early, I'm going to go ahead and have our 15-minute recess now. All right, do not discuss the case and do not do any outside research. We'll see you in 15 minutes. Okay.
All right, we got a mixed bag for defense there as far as evidence. The spice started to come in. She seemed open to talk about the things that everyone else didn't want to talk about. The pressure, the chain of command wanting a specific result. And she started naming names. We got some names from her, some people we need to get some answers from. And there might be a little seed of doubt growing there in the mind of the jury. But she herself...
Come back at 11:22 then?
Thank you, Judge.
All rise.
She herself did not feel that there was, any pressure. I didn't feel pressure. I didn't change anything. I didn't change, how I investigate, or what conclusions I came to because of this pressure. And the state got in the jab that it wasn't, on cross-examination, they got in the point that it was not Juliana's changed story, her recantation of a previous story, that brought about Brendan's arrest and charge. It was the blood work. Now, I'm curious about that. When the blood work comes back, why that would be... See, it couldn't be the knife because his DNA was not on the knife. It would have to be the blood work on Joe, specifically the directionality, how the blood got on Joe, where his body might have been positioned when her blood got on him, that they're talking about there. So I don't think defense is chalking up any wins so far. Like if they're keeping score, I don't think they're checking off their box. It's not there. It seems tantalizingly close, right? We hear these questions. We're like, ooh, he's getting it. He's getting the internal strife in the investigation, the pressure. Maybe somebody put a thumb on it and said, "This is what you need to find." He's so close to that, and we've never been closer than with this witness. But he just can't get there. Every single time we feel like we fell short. How am I supposed to trust any of them if the boss has a story they want? That's an issue. But if they say it didn't change what we, how we, looked at the case, how we investigated, what we looked at and our conclusions, yeah, you've got a bad boss. He shouldn't have done that, but it didn't change what the facts, were, found. Well, that's weak. It's a weak finish game for sure. Something's fishy, and maybe he can get at it. Now that we have now names of people who were applying pressure. Okay, if he's called them to the stand or called them as witnesses, we can now dig into them and say, what were you doing? Why? Who told you to do that? Maybe they'll pass the buck up. Maybe they'll fight him every way. I still think that the defense should at least ask the judge that for every witness who currently works with the prosecution, and by that I mean law enforcement witnesses, investigators, closely worked with the prosecution team on this. For every witness, he should be asking to treat them as a hostile witness, not because they're angry, not because they're going to fight, not that he's like force them to answer. More so the last one, just that he will be able to lead. Because they are stonewalling in a way. We are hearing hesitant answers or, sort of obscure answers based on how you worded that. No. And if he gets that permission to lead, man, he's such a better a lawyer when he's allowed to cross-examine or lead as opposed to directly examine, which is not lead. That would help him get to where he needs to go. All right.
I'm not going to argue about semantics.
Yeah, thank you, Bree. All he did is to set this up. I'm sure he had her gloves on when he stabbed her. That could be why he couldn't use the phone. But where were the gloves? The gloves disappeared. I mean, they searched the whole house. Did he run and throw them away somewhere and then get back in the house without anybody seeing it? I don't hear hesitance, says Angela 2K1. I hear they don't actually know the answers. A lot of defense attorneys struggle on direct. That transition from the state's case in chief to defense case in chief is difficult for both sides. Obviously, it's much easier for the state to make the transition because suddenly more options are available to you in how you approach the situation. But it's difficult. For me, it's still Juliana's story in the 7 full minutes he spent at McDonald's while she waited in the car for Ryan to arrive. Explain that, and I'll reconsider. Right, who spends 7 minutes in the bathroom at Mickey D's? Now, Taco Bell, if you were a dine-in guy at Taco Bell, maybe, not willingly, but that seems a long time in a place that when he's supposed to be going to work, right? He's on his way to work, or not. Kept the gloves in his pocket, threw them away at the hospital. They searched him. They searched him in the ambulance. I think Juliana would have mentioned gloves if there were a factor here. Did he flush the gloves? I don't think that the nitrile gloves, the little, the rubber gloves, would have protected him from the knife stabbing. I think he would need to have especially considering the knife is like a stainless polished look. It doesn't have much grip or ridges to keep your hand steady. Once it got bloody and slippery, he would need to have a more protective glove, like a leather work glove, to prevent his hand getting cut as he's stabbing than anything else. I think he used towels. He could have wrapped a towel around the handle of the knife or wrapped a towel around his hand. It would have made it more difficult to stab. And with Juliana saying the way he was holding the knife, the angle was weird, I think she would have commented if he had towels wrapped around his hand or something. Can't flush a glove. Yeah, unless you've got like a super toilet. A work glove's not going down. If you cut up a glove, it'll flush. But, well, let's see. This was the master bedroom. We have the master bath attached to it. So there was a bathroom close by. I just don't know if the blood evidence went into the bathroom as well. We know, there was on the body cam. We heard sit in the tub, right? We heard that when Brendan was told to sit in the tub at one point. So we know they went into the bathroom. There could have been blood in there. Lee the OG says, you guys must have wimpy toilets. Mine can flush 6 pounds of mixed vegetables. What's the commercial? That super flush toilet? And they're like, mine can flush a whole bucket of golf balls. It's like, who's doing that? What a waste of golf balls. They did search him at the scene. Delina Foster, 20 months. You just hit OG status, Delina. I love spending my days with y'all. Oh, and Thursday night podcasts are my favorite. That is tonight. I was talking to Weather Watch just yesterday. We're still working on it. I'm looking right now for some stories for tonight. Clever name. Your mom. Your mom's going to hear you. Our toilet flushes 16 golf balls. It said so right on the box. Did you test it, though? Did you head down to the pro shop and be like, hey, I need some Callaway, I don't know, or some Top Flight, about 16, 17, just to see, push the limit. Why are you flushing vegetables? I imagine the alternatives open to the toilet companies are not appealing for advertising purposes. If Joe intended on killing Christine, he would have brought a different knife to the scene. Agreed, Heidi. 100%. That was not a murder knife. That was a cut your finger while you're slicing carrots knife. That's what it was. My house is on septic. We don't flush anything down if you don't need to. Right. You should demo the 3D printer. I should. I was just going to print another thing right now. If any of you are design gurus, I need a design guru. Because this, let's go full screen. Can you see it? Yeah. This is the clip for the insulin pump. So the insulin pump just snaps down in there like that, and it's held that way. It's a belt clip. You see that through my head as a background. It's a belt clip that just opens up right here. It's just open on the bottom. You slide it onto, say, the top of clothing, like your waistband or something. The problem is, the lady that asked me to reprint this says, I slide it onto my waistbands, and when I sit down, like, it pops right off. I need a clip that holds more. And I'm trying to figure out what I can do to design a clip. If there are more ridges, more bumps back and forth, like more teeth. I can't really make it tighter. But if you've got a design, or even if you could just draw it on a napkin and send me a picture, my son might be able to build it in CAD. I'd love to give her a model that works better for her. All right, going back to court. Jackie gifted a membership. Thank you, Jackie. That went to Kay Rose. Congratulations. Kay Rose says, I'm convinced the au pair did some stabbing too. I got it. Since we have this court case tomorrow, are we still planning to do New Jersey on Saturday? Yes. We'll see what happens with the snowstorm, though. I have the same problem when my TENS unit falls right off. Okay, so it's a common problem. It just needs to be solved with the clip. And I think this is obviously it's a female that's wearing this, right? And so she doesn't wear a belt with some of the clothing she wears. I mean, she came up to me on a Sunday, so she's wearing like a skirt and a blouse, right? And so she clips it on either under her clothing on an undergarment, or she clips it on to her waistband. It just needs to hold better. That's all. Maybe it just needs like a foam insert or something to hold tighter. Put the clip on sideways. Fusion 360 works. My son uses Tinkercad some. Ridges that close the gap. 2 points would help that design. Shape of the clips is an X. Put the clip on sideways on a belt loop. Increase the tensils. I could use different material. I'm not sure if PETG or fiber. I can print in fiber. Or ABS. Maybe ABS is what needs to work. The part that goes onto the belt come off, or does the pump slide off? The pump slides off. So the green part is the pump, and it slides up and out of this little like cup style carrier. Just holds it in place with the belt clip on the back. So it slides in. Thump. Oops, that's upside down. It doesn't slide in that way. Slides in, it's held in place. Teeth on the inside of the clip. That's a great idea. Adjoining but not connected parts are difficult for the printer because it can't print in the air. It can't print something that's floating, right? So everything has to be supported. So either it's printed with a little tiny piece that supports it, holds it up during the print that I can later break off and just leave there, or it has to be printed at an angle where it's always resting on something. Just add a bottom curve. I don't get the sense that Brendan is the type she would stab for. Turn the clip upside down. But it has to clip onto a skirt, right? The waistband of a skirt. I think it still, that means it will have to go from top down. But how about a top flap clip to keep it down? A couple of you are starting to send some pictures. Let's see. Oh, that's like, I might also add, she likes to wear underclothing, so this clips onto an undergarment at the waistline. So I do need it also to be low profile. Cynthia notched and bumped bottom. I like this. I think that the texture will add to it. I was also thinking possibly adding an adhesive, like an adhesive layer on one side that's like foam, like a thin layer of foam stuck to the bottom flat side, so that there's just material there so it grabs harder. Because I can't print it any tighter. It's already almost touching. All right, we're
All right, ready for the jury?
Are you working?
Ready for the jury?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
We are planning on live streaming on Saturday as well, possibly to catch up with some of the other trial, which we're watching out of New Jersey. And then depending on what happens with the weather and the power here and the power in Virginia, we might have a day or two next week of that trial while we wait for this one to come back. Get the magnet back. I'm not sure if magnet would be a problem with the pump. It probably wouldn't. But I use that for microphones, so that's a good idea.
All right, your next witness?
Matt Nielsen.
Matt Nielsen.
Stand here, please stand and put, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to testify truthfully in this case under penalty of law?
I do.
Thank you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Can you please tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury your name and spell your name for the court reporter?
Matthew Nilsson, Nilssen.
And where are you currently employed?
I'm currently employed with the Fairfax County Police Department as a detective sergeant with the Major Crimes Bureau.
Okay. Were you previously in the homicide division?
Yes, I was.
When was that?
I was employed as a homicide detective prior to my promotion to sergeant from approximately February 2023 until what would have been November of 2024.
Okay, so I'm sorry, you were the homicide sergeant at that time?
I was a detective on the squad.
Okay. And then you transferred to where you are now, which is in the homicide division?
I work for the Major Crimes Bureau. I am not the supervisor of the homicide unit.
Okay.
I work for
what areas are you working in?
I supervise the sex crime squad.
Okay, gotcha. Now, calling your attention to February 24th, 2023, were you involved actively with the homicide that occurred at the Banfield house?
Yes, I was.
Okay, and what role did you play in that?
I assisted beginning on that day with the investigation by handling investigative tasks such as writing search warrants, and then throughout the remainder of the investigation with tasks that were assigned to me by my supervisor and other detectives handling the investigation as primary.
Okay, and based upon the time frame that you said you were there, you were still there in October of 23 when Juliana Perez Magalhaes was charged, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and were you involved in that?
Yes, I was.
Okay, was there any sort of planning that went with that?
Yes.
Okay, what was What was the ultimate goal of charging her with murder?
I would state there were several goals that included the fact that evidence supported probable cause to charge her with murder at that time. But based on our investigation, there was belief that there was more to the story that could be elicited from her. And the effect of charging her with a crime was effectively a way to introduce a change in circumstances between her and Brendan Banfield that could lead to the elicitation of more information about what happened.
Okay.
It was a bump.
So, charging her, keeping her in jail, the pressure that would be caused, was that part of the plan?
Yes, in terms of in any type of incident in which you have multiple people involved in the carrying out of that act, there is competing interests between self-interest and cooperation. And by introducing circumstances that would encourage cooperation with law enforcement over cooperation with other parties, it could change the outcome of the investigation, change the amount of information available to us as investigators.
Okay, like a plea agreement to a lesser charge and no further jail time, something like that?
There's a number of different ways that could be accomplished, or the ultimate goal could be accomplished.
And that's ultimately what happened, though. That's what caused the change in Juliana Perez Magalhaes.
My understanding is she did at one point cooperate with detectives. I was not involved at that point in the investigation.
Now, while you were on the homicide squad, were you ever assigned to listening to the jail phone calls?
No, I was not.
Okay. Was that something that was employed in order to determine whether or not she was subject to the pressure that had been intended?
I know that someone was assigned to review those calls, and the information learned from those calls was part of our investigation.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I don't have any further questions.
Cross-examination? All right, is this witness subject to recall?
No.
All right, you're free to go, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your next witness?
Your Honor, Patrick Bruce.
Wrong guy? We got nothing? Did you listen to the jail calls? No? Okay. No further questions. We did find out that there was pressure applied to Juliana, that charging her was a bump. So I guess that's something. Maybe he was just asking, that's all he needed, maybe. The gallery is filling up. A lot of people are anticipating this is near the end of the trial. Here he is. Welcome, sir. Right this way.
Do you swear or affirm to testify truthfully in this case under penalty of law?
I do.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Bruce.
Good morning.
Can you please state your name and spell it for the court reporter?
John Patrick Bruce, B-R-U-S-C-H.
And you previously were with the Fairfax County Police Department?
That's correct.
Okay. And in what capacity was your final position?
I was the deputy chief.
Okay.
Of the Administrative Support Bureau, I'm sorry.
Yes. At some point prior to going to the administrator, were you transferred from another department to go to the Administrative Support Bureau?
Just for clarification, are you asking my previous assignment before that?
Yes.
Yes, sir. I was the deputy chief of the Major Crimes Bureau.
Okay. And you were transferred from there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And was that of your own volition?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you wanted that transfer to the Administrative Support Bureau?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, during your time as Deputy Chief of the Major Crimes Division, you were overseeing or supervising the Homicide Squad at that time, correct?
It was one of several squads under the Major Crimes Bureau.
Okay, I'm just asking about the Homicide Squad. You were supervising the Homicide Squad.
Could I have permission to clarify?
Yeah, sure.
So I was the head of the entire Major Crimes Bureau, which encompassed the Domestic Violence Unit, the Sex Crime Squad, Child Abuse Squad, Robbery, Cold Case, as well as Homicide.
Okay. And were you involved, or were you in that position at the time of February 24, 2023?
So at that time, I was the captain of the Major Crimes, Violent Crimes Division. So not a deputy chief.
And when did you become deputy chief?
I became a deputy chief in January of 2024.
Okay. And did you have contact or involvement in the case that we're here for today?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how would you describe your role in that case among all the other ones that you were handling?
Overall, my responsibilities are similar for all the cases in the Major Crimes Bureau, to include this one. So it's oversight, it's providing advice as needed, support, guidance, and then also raising concerns in the investigative process if those arise.
Okay. Were there concerns in the investigative process by you in this case?
I think that's fair to say, yes.
Okay. And did it relate to digital forensics?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And just to get to it, were you involved in the transfer of Detective Miller from digital forensics to child sex?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In fact, you at one point spoke to...
Objection leading.
All right, I'll sustain us to lead.
What, if anything, did you say to Deputy Chief Freed about Brendan Miller to have him transferred?
I had indicated that as far as I was concerned, Detective Miller was not to work another digital forensic case that pertained to the Major Crimes Bureau.
And were you aware of his history prior to you making that, I guess, happen?
Could you please clarify?
His work history there in digital forensics?
Was I aware that he was a detective within the division, the bureau? I guess I'm looking.
Well, I'm assuming you were aware of him being a detective in the bureau. Were you aware of his background in digital forensics?
I guess I would have to say no at that point.
Okay. Was that anything you took into account with regard to Detective Miller?
No, sir.
And so is it fair to say, or what if anything, or what if any case was the reason that you asked for him to be transferred?
It would be this case that we're here for.
Okay. And what item of this case was it that caused you such concern?
Could I actually go back for 1 second? I didn't say that he needed to be transferred. I indicated that he wouldn't work a case for the Major Crimes Bureau. Okay. That was Deputy Chief Freed's decision whether or not he ultimately would be transferred.
Okay, so you as the head of you're the deputy chief of the homicide or the Major Crimes Bureau. By saying that, you essentially caused the transfer.
Judge, I'm going to object to his characterization of the evidence. Objection is to form. The witness has testified that at this point in time, he was the captain of Major Crimes when the decision was made, not the deputy chief. All right.
Is that correct?
I was the deputy chief of Major Crimes when I made that statement.
Okay.
Oops.
And
sorry, state.
When you're the deputy chief, you make that kind of statement, especially with major crimes. That gets things moving, correct?
I certainly acknowledge that had influence on his transfer.
Okay. And his transfer was classified as performance management. Do you know that term?
I didn't know that that's what his transfer was classified as.
Okay. Have you ever heard that term?
We have a performance management document.
Okay, but not a doctrine that allows transfer without documenting discipline?
I couldn't comment on that.
Was there discipline associated with this decision?
Not that I'm aware of.
Were you disciplining him by moving him out of your area?
Absolutely not. I actually retained him in the child exploitation unit.
Okay, so where he is right now?
Yes, sir.
Now, calling your attention to immediately after the killing of Christine Banfield, were you in meetings at that time when you were a captain?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and were you involved with any theories relating to the case after the killing?
I'm sure at some point.
Okay. Do you know what catfishing is?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Was that something that you were pushing with your homicide detectives at any point?
I wouldn't characterize that as pushing.
Okay. Would you tell them that this is the theory? Is that not pushing?
So I had a specific meeting with then Lieutenant Harrington. I believe it was in November of 2023. I was asked by the two commanders, Lieutenant Matthew Lewick, as well as Lieutenant Aaron Weeks, to meet with Lieutenant Harrington. During that time, I actually proposed 3 separate theories to Lieutenant Harrington. And we discussed those theories at that time. So there was not only one theory I was pushing, or presenting, I should say. Ultimately, I was looking for an objective and comprehensive analysis of all the facts and evidence in this case.
And when the catfish theory came up, had there been a collection of all of the evidence, all the digital forensics, fingerprints, DNA, all those things?
Just like with any investigation, it was fluid.
Okay. Had that theory of catfishing come out before any of that was finalized?
I'm sorry, could you go back to the things you had listed?
DNA, digital forensics, and fingerprints.
The digital forensics, for the most part, had been back at that point.
What time frame was that?
That would probably be the spring of 2023.
Okay, so
to fall of 2023.
So my question is, within weeks of the killing of Christine Banfield, did you suggest the catfish theory in a meeting of the homicide detectives?
I don't recall ever being in a meeting with homicide detectives. I do recall talking to my command team about that possibility.
And who was your command team?
Lieutenant Weeks as well as Lieutenant Lewick.
Okay, and where was Lieutenant Joshua there at that point?
He was not.
Okay, but you brought him in, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and that was March of 2024?
That's correct.
And it was at that point that you had decided that catfish theory was?
Objection leading.
I'll sustain as the leading.
What, if anything, had you concluded about catfish theory at the time that Lieutenant Giasio was brought in?
I hadn't made any conclusions at that point. Did I have a strong working theory that this was a catfish? Absolutely.
Okay, and was that something that you told Lieutenant, I guess, Giacchio when he came on with you?
I don't ever recall explicitly having that conversation. I think he probably came to that conclusion on his own.
Okay, but the two of you were pretty close in terms of the investigative issues, correct?
Yes, we were.
You were both in narcotics together at one point?
Yes, we were.
And you brought him in to major crimes, correct?
I did. That was a collective decision amongst my command team.
Okay. And so is it not true that you insisted you had to have Giacchio come in March of 2024?
That is not true.
Okay. Were you aware that he was on the Brady list?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What's the Brady list for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
It's basically an indication of a time or a potential in where you weren't totally forthcoming.
So truthfulness?
It could be.
But that's essentially the basis of the discipline in the police department, truthfulness, correct?
I think that could vary as well. Okay. Ethics, not necessarily truthfulness, so it varies.
But at the time you hired him into that division, he was on the Brady list, correct?
I did not hire him.
Okay, at the time that you asked him to come in and be a lieutenant in your section.
So could I have an opportunity to explain the transfer process?
Judge, I think at this point in time, I would object. I'm not sure the relevance of a non-testifying witnesses being on the Brady list.
Oh, I think we've already established that if you want to move on from that.
Yes.
Okay.
At the time that he was hired, he was on the Brady list, correct?
When he was hired by the police department?
No, by you as a lieutenant within major crimes.
Again, I'd have to explain the transfer process and the selection process.
March 24, was he on the Brady's list?
Yes.
Okay. And this is a 2024, March of 2024.
Correct.
And has he been put on the Brady list again during this time?
Objection is to relevance.
What's the relevance as to this time?
Judge, it goes to truthfulness, which will ultimately come in to the decisions to have him involved, the decisions why.
But at this time, I'll sustain as to at this time.
Okay. Now, sir, you indicated that you you decided that Detective Miller was not going to be, I think as you said, involved in any other major crimes while you were there.
Any of the digital forensics for the major crimes cases, correct.
Okay. And then he was transferred.
Within weeks, I would say, yes, sir.
Okay. And what was your basis for that?
So there were a few factors. Would you like me to expand on this?
Were they related to this case?
Yes, sir.
Exclusively related to this case?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Was it related to his work product?
Yes, sir.
And are you talking about the executive summary work product?
That was part of it.
Okay. And so his conclusions were not agreeable to you?
I wouldn't word that way.
How would you word it?
I would word it that his analysis was incorrect.
Okay. And at that time when you determined his analysis wasn't correct, had you had any training in digital forensics?
I have my master's in computer forensics.
Okay. So did you look at some of the items of evidence in order to arrive at that informed decision?
So he had provided me a zip file of a Cellbrite, but that wasn't able to be downloaded.
Okay. So you didn't really review anything in order coming to that conclusion?
Well, I can get into the specifics if you'd like me to.
Well, I'm asking some questions right now, and perhaps we'll get there.
Okay.
You didn't actually check the source of his findings.
Objection leading.
What, if anything, did you do to check the source of his findings, the digital forensics?
I didn't conduct my own digital forensic analysis, if that's what you're asking.
Okay. And I think you said you couldn't get into the portable case when you were given
the zip file of the Cellbrite, correct.
Okay. And so what would be the reason that you would differ from your expert's opinion?
Because of some of the unsubstantiated deductions that he made.
Okay, so it's based upon his decisions relating to his digital forensics expertise.
So the deductions and the wrongful analysis.
Okay, so the decisions.
I wouldn't use that word. I'd say deductions and wrongful analysis.
Okay, and the wrongful analysis relating to the actual digital forensics that were downloaded?
Some of them, yes.
Okay, and did you ever go over those with him in detail?
I would ask clarifying questions.
Did you tell him exactly what it was that you disagreed with in terms of his deductions and his analysis?
I think a couple of them, yes.
Okay. How many were there in total?
Off the top of my head, I could probably list at least 4.
Okay. And so it was based on that, based on your reading of his executive summary, that you decided that it it had gotten to the point where he's no longer doing any more major crimes under your tutelage.
Digital forensics for major crimes cases. I retained him as a detective within the Major Crimes Bureau Child Exploitation Unit.
I understand that. The digital forensics section.
He was not going to do digital forensic analysis for any other major crimes case.
Okay. And sorry, bear with me for a second. Were you aware that his work was peer reviewed outside of the police department?
I was.
And were you surprised to see that they concurred in his findings?
I have a question to clarify. Did they concur on his extraction or his analysis?
Both.
That's news to me.
Okay, so that peer review held no weight for you because you had already decided that the analysis was wrong.
Objection leading.
All right, sustain as to leading. You want to rephrase?
Why was it that the peer review did not hold any weight for you?
Because ultimately the analysis was incorrect.
Okay. Now, in terms of the Cellbrite messages that you say you reviewed, what was it that was the problem with those?
The Cellbrite messages that he had provided?
Yes.
I wasn't able to open the zip file.
Okay, so we don't know anything about the Cellbrite messages as to your decisions on his analysis. Were you privy to a printout of his communications on FetLife?
Yes.
Okay. Were you privy to the communications from Telegram?
Yes.
And do you understand how those were obtained?
Through the digital forensics.
Do you know how that's done?
It's essentially tied to software that then downloads both from a cell phone and or laptop or any digital device.
And did you review that data?
I didn't review all the data, no.
What data did you review?
I reviewed the correspondence.
I'm sorry, the what?
The correspondence on Telegraph, the correspondence on FetLife. There's a significant amount of data when they download these items.
Okay. Now, are you still working as a police officer?
I am not.
Okay. On July 10th, when we were here before the court, you had just moved to the Administrative Support Bureau, correct?
I moved there in February of 2025.
Okay, so, but that's when we found out you had moved, or I found out that you moved to the Administrative Support
Objection,
Bureau.
counsel's testifying.
Oh,
Correct?
I can't testify to when you found out I was
Okay, on the 10th, we talked about this, correct?
Yes.
And how you had enjoyed this position and you were really looking forward to, you know, the things that happen in an administrative support bureau, and the challenge of not having, that's being in more of an administrative role than being in major crimes.
I would agree that it was a completely different assignment than I'd had throughout my entire career.
And that's something that you sought, correct?
Correct.
Isn't that what you said?
Yes, sir.
And it's something that you're really excited about, correct?
I don't know if I'd say really excited, just...
Well, when you were here on the 10th, you said that you were very interested and excited about your new challenge.
Sure.
Okay. And when did you retire?
July 25th, 2025.
When did you put in your retirement paperwork?
July 11th, 2025.
So the Friday after the Thursday that we were in court here?
Correct.
Okay.
Wow.
So what happened, if anything, about the excitement with the Administrative Support Bureau?
Judge, I would object and ask to approach.
Relevance. So we got the dates in. Here's what we know. This guy in charge of the Major Crimes Unit reads the report of the conclusions of the investigator who's looking at the digital forensics, says, I don't want him working any case in my unit ever again as far as digital forensics go. He likes to say, oh, I like him. Yeah, he's a great guy. We retained him in child sex investigations. That's an area, let me just say this, very few officers want to be in. It's a tough, terrible, terrible place to work because of the content that you're working on constantly. People get transferred there. Very few people say, hey, put me in, coach. That's for me. So he's like, yeah, I retained him. I retained him there. He says it was not willingly. The guy he brought in to replace him was on the Brady list. A Brady list basically means that if this guy were to be like presented in court, that the state, if they brought him in as a witness to testify in court, the state would have to say, Your Honor, we have to let the defense know this witness has credibility issues. That's the guy they brought in to replace him.
So why did you retire one day or put in your retirement paperwork one day after the hearing that we had here on July 10th?
For personal and professional reasons.
Okay.
What are they?
And
tell us.
You're no longer a police officer.
I am not.
Testifies one day and says, love my job, new assignment, management. Next day he puts in his retirement papers after he testifies.
Sir, I'm going to change.
We can't hear you, sir.
Your Honor, I think we have ID 91, so 92 would be the next.
All right, yes, sir.
Sir, if you can look on the screen in front of you, are you able to see this communication?
Yes.
Okay, and who is that communication between?
Director Fayez.
Okay, and Director Fayez, who is that?
She's the Director of Victim Services.
Okay, and was she someone that was within your command structure?
Yes, sir.
Okay, exactly where does that fall in the Major Crimes Bureau command structure?
She's part of the command team.
Okay, so would she be involved with command staff meetings?
Yes, sir.
Is she supposed to be there?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Above or below you?
Here we have, it looks like a...
Counsel, if you could go back to the microphone, the jury won't be able to.
Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Looking at the exhibit that's going to be identified as Exhibit 92, do you recognize that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And there's reference to a jail call. Is that you or is that someone else?
They're responding where it says my name.
Okay. And so who else was on this thread?
I believe it would have to be based on the response of one last favor GI would be Lieutenant Giasio.
Okay. And so it was the three of you, and you agree that's a communication that you had with all three?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Your Honor, I move that as Commonwealth Defense Exhibit 92.
Any objection?
Judge, it contains hearsay statements. Two of those individuals have not been called to testify.
I'll identify
ID
it,
it?
Judge,
Okay.
and we'll get to it later. And
All
that's
right, ID is 92.
92.
He needs to remember to get to it. If he never gets it admitted, that's going to be a problem.
Sir, do you see that on the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And it looks to be three people.
That's correct.
Okay. And who are those three people?
Based on the text message, it would be Chief Kevin Davis, myself, Director Fayez, and Lieutenant Giasio.
That's 4.
And the date of Friday, October 25th, 7:32.
Correct.
Does that have significance for you?
I believe that's the date that Juliana proffered.
Your Honor, can I identify this as defense exhibit number 93?
93 identified as 93.
And I'd move that into evidence?
Objection contains hearsay.
All right, sustained as hearsay at this moment.
I'll just identify it,
Okay.
Your Honor. And
Identified as 93.
So to bring that in, he would need to call each witness, each person that's on that letter, have them verify that what their
Sir,
part
do you
is
see
true.
what will be identified as defense exhibit number 94?
I do.
Okay, and is that a message group that you were involved with?
Could you just give me a second to read this, please?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir, it is.
And this message that you sent is on October 25th, 2024, correct?
Correct.
And the same significance as the previous message?
Are you saying this day of the proffer?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have I identified this one yet?
You identified it as 94.
94. I'd move that into evidence, Your Honor.
Same objection.
Objection.
All right, I'll sustain the objection at this point.
Okay.
It is ID'd as 94.
ID is 94. Thank you. Sir, can you see that message?
I can.
And I'd identify this as Defense Exhibit 95. There are a number of people involved in this message, correct?
It appears that way, yes, sir.
And the names there, does that match up with your memory?
Could I review this as well?
Of course, of course.
I've reviewed it. I don't recall this correspondence, but my name is certainly on it.
Do you have any idea who is writing in the blue boxes,
I can't tell.
even by the discussion?
Well, my issue with being able to tell is that the banner, it's very small initials.
Okay. Your Honor, I think I've identified this as 95.
That's correct.
Okay. I'll ID this and
Okay.
come back to it.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I'm going to have you look at this. It'll be identified as Defense Exhibit 96. Take some time to read it.
I can see my first name up at the top. I don't recall this correspondence.
Okay. And is that with Lieutenant Giasio?
I couldn't say. I see my first name up at the top.
Okay. Your Honor, I'd move to admit that as
He doesn't recall
Exhibit 96.
Foundation.
Judge, two objections hearsay, and it has not been recognized by the witness as having been his statement.
Right. I'll sustain the objection. It's just ID'd as 96 at this point.
Sir, please look at this message. This is going to be identified as Defense Exhibit 97.
Again, I see my name at the top. I just couldn't verify if that's me as Patrick and or who this correspondence is with.
Okay.
Are there other Patricks?
Let's talk about that. PB, Patrick, that doesn't show up on your text messages?
Well, it appears that this is with somebody else, so it's what appears on their text messages.
Okay, so do you have any idea, based on the content of it, who that person would be?
Are you asking me to take a guess?
No, I want you to conclude who that person is. Can you do that?
I can't definitively say who that's with.
Okay.
He's a snake.
Your Honor, I would
Slithering
move
away
that
from the
in as
answer.
Counsel's Exhibit or Defense Exhibit 97.
Same objection.
All right, I'll sustain the objection, but ID is 97.
97, Your Honor, is that right?
That was 97.
Okay, thank you.
This guy is not remembering. I'm not sure if that was me or not.
Sir, I'm going to ask you to identify what will be marked as Defense Exhibit number 98. Please read it.
Somebody's phone's going off. He says, I don't recall exactly, or I can't say definitively. It's a slippery answer.
Again, that's my name at the top, or my first name at the top, with the initials PB. I don't recall this correspondence.
These are all, what, the professional reasons why you
Moved
retired?
into Evidence Exhibit 97.
98.
98. Same objection, Judge.
All right, I'll sustain the objection. ID is 98.
He has changed coloration a little bit during this testimony.
Sir, can you look at the screen in front of you and tell me if you recognize this message?
I predict that he does not recall this one either.
All right, identify this as Defense Exhibit 99.
All right.
Again, I see that my first name at the top, the initials. I just don't recall this correspondence.
Your Honor, move in Defense Exhibit 98.
Same
99. Objection, Your Honor.
99, sorry.
Sustained, just ID is 99.
So now if we get all the other people that are on this list on the stand to verify and say who was involved.
Sir, can you see the picture in front of you?
Yes.
And do you have any recollection, based upon your review of the content of these messages, as to whether or not that's yours?
This I do recall, yes, sir.
Okay. And
did it also have
were you
PB
the
in
one
your
who
name?
wrote about Klingon and Kelsey and not holding off on bringing Klingon and Kelsey? into the
Objection
room?
is to counsel's reading the documented evidence, but it's not being admitted.
Just trying to identify which message.
All right. Well, you can have, just point to it.
Which,
Sustain objection.
I'm pointing to that one right there. Is that you, or is that the person you're talking to?
Based on how this is presented, that would be me.
Okay. And in that message, you're talking about Eric Klingon, the prosecutor, correct?
Yes.
and Kelsey Gill, the prosecutor.
Yes.
Okay. And whomever you're speaking to, you're saying, hold off on.
Objection. It has not been admitted into evidence. Counsel cannot read what is written.
I'll sustain that objection.
Okay, Your Honor. I'd move this into evidence as Exhibit 100.
And again, Judge, Commonwealth would object. It contains hearsay.
All right, I'll sustain the objection, but ID is 100.
Okay. Sir, this is going to be identified as Defense Exhibit 101. Do you recognize that message?
I don't recall this specific message.
Okay. Is that, do you know if that is your communication, even if you don't remember the content?
I don't recall.
Your Honor, I'll hold this as identification
101.
before moving in.
Okay.
101. Sir, do you recall this conversation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you know who you were communicating with?
Lieutenant Giasio.
And which color of the bubbles are you communicating on?
Gray.
And this is Friday, October 25th. Well, tell me the date. What does it say?
It says Friday, October 25th.
Okay. And what's the significance of that?
That's the date of Juliana's proffer.
Okay. Your Honor, I'll hold off and
All right.
move that.
That's
This is 102.
ID is 102.
Bug Dugger, thank you. Just sent me a bunch of filaments for the kids, I think. This is a spool of filament for the 3D printer. It's blue on one side, green on the other.
So do you, sir, do you recall this message that's before you?
Yes, sir.
And was that a message that you participated in?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And are you in the gray?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Your Honor, this would be identified as Defense Exhibit 103.
All right. 103. Identified.
Now, sir, in your communication, you reference someone else in the fourth gray communication down. Who is that person?
That's Director Fayez.
And Director Sally Fayez?
Correct.
Okay. Your Honor, it's identified
It's
as
identified as 103.
103.
Yep. You got it.
Sir, can you see the message before you?
I do.
Is that a message that you were participating in?
Yes, sir. I'm again in the gray.
Okay. And the second box, those are your words?
Yes, sir.
And these are your words?
Yes, sir.
And do you know who you were speaking with?
Lieutenant Giasio.
Okay. Your Honor, I identify that as 104 and
Yes.
we'll move in for.
All right. Identified as 104.
He's laying the groundwork. He has to cut the other person in to get the content, I think.
Sir, this is Defense Exhibit 105. Do you recognize that?
Bug Dugger, thank you so much. Kids love that one.
Yes, sir.
And are those your words?
Yes, sir.
And who are you speaking with?
Lieutenant Giasio.
Your Honor, I'd identify and move to be admitted at a later time.
Okay, just right now it's identified as 105.
We might be here for another week. Sounds like we're going to be getting into the spice, though. He's identifying these to later be used. Admitted means we get to hear what the content is. There's some spice in there. We can see it in the witness's face because he's turning red when he's reading them. He's trying to dodge as much as possible.
Sir, I'm going to identify this as Defense Exhibit 106. Do you recognize that communication?
He doesn't recall this one.
I do not.
Are you not a participant in this?
I don't know if I am. I can't tell.
Okay. Your Honor, identified as 106.
Identified as 106.
Sir, I'm going to ask you to identify what will be marked as Defense Exhibit 107. Are you involved in that message?
I don't believe I am because I'm referenced in the third person. So if you see the second gray box down, wasn't for your leadership and Bruce believing in you. I don't refer to myself in the third person.
Okay, but you don't remember it if in fact you were included in this?
I don't recall.
Okay. Your Honor, I'd move that. I would identify it as 107. 107. So those messages appear to be quite frequent and with the same group of people. Is that correct?
Look at the state.
I guess.
I mean, would that be your a group that you rely on for discussion about the case?
Watch him glance at the prosecution.
Certainly people I was in text communications with.
Okay. And the text communications that we know from what we just saw were what you told us, Lieutenant Giasio and Sally Fayez, Director of Victim Services, correct?
Well, there was definitely other ones where you had group people on there as well.
Right, but we didn't identify them.
I think there was one line that said Dan Spital in there as well.
Okay, was he part of your command staff?
Yes, he was.
Okay, and were there anybody else that you saw in there?
I believe Tom Harrington was on one of those threads.
Was he part of your command staff?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and anybody else that you saw there?
I don't recall. I have to go through those again.
Okay. You're on court's indulgence.
All right, yes, sir.
Yes. Brendan's working as a paralegal now. He's got his collar up over his suit jacket. Try not to look at that. Sorry if I pointed it out for some of you.
Sir, in terms of your command structure, who is below you?
As in how would it
Within
appear?
homicide, yes.
My command structure would have been myself to Major Spital. Then underneath him would have been Captain Harrington, Captain Bobel. Let me clarify. I assume you're talking in this 2024 timeframe.
Yes.
Yes. And then the direct report to Major Spital. I think by the way the diagram was, or as I best can recall, would have been Director Fayez.
And so Director Fayez had a direct report. Major Spital had a direct report.
Yes, I was his direct report.
And is that something that's put into the structure that was set up?
Could you clarify what you're asking?
Well, are you the one who's asking for the direct reports, or is it just by based upon their position that they're?
It's based upon their position.
Okay. Was Lieutenant Giasio ever a direct report?
He would have then been underneath, at the way it was structured, Captain Bobel.
Okay. Was there ever any concern by the people in your command staff regarding Lieutenant Giacchio directly reporting to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Was that an issue that you had to deal with?
It wasn't an issue for me.
Okay. Well, in a command structure such as yours, who would Lieutenant Giacchio have to go to if he wasn't a direct report?
I think I'd like to be careful about the word have to. It's a command structure. So there is a hierarchy, and I would be at the top of that hierarchy.
Okay, and would you be the person who would give him permission to bypass the others to get to you?
I could.
Okay, in this case, specifically this case, did you tell him to come directly to you and bypass the others?
I did not tell him to bypass the others, but it was known that he would be reporting directly to me.
Okay, so you gave him that assignment, and then he just took it from there without talking to the others?
I actually spoke to the others. They were part of my command team.
Okay, so you then disseminated whatever he said to you directly?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you came into your position as deputy chief, were you told to clean up the homicide division?
No, sir.
Did you in turn tell anybody to clean up the homicide division?
No, sir.
Were you aware of anybody saying that they were here to clean up the homicide division?
Objection as to relevance.
Overruled, if you can answer.
No, sir.
Judge, I don't have any further questions.
All right, examination.
Let's see if they can smooth this over.
Good afternoon. So are we to understand that your involvement in the Banfield investigation was as a supervisor only?
As a commander, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you did not collect any evidence in this case?
That's correct. I did not collect any evidence in this case.
Did you direct that any evidence be ignored?
No, ma'am.
Just direct that it should be interpreted
You
differently.
spoke about Brendan Miller and your concerns about his work. You specifically made the statement that he had unsubstantiated deductions. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Was one of those unsubstantiated deductions recorded in his executive summary that Christine Banfield was the operator of her devices when interacting with the FetLife account?
That's correct.
Okay. And was it that type of unsubstantiated deduction that caused you concern?
Exactly.
Okay. Did you do anything to change his report?
Never.
And did you do anything to change the evidence that he had collected that he believed substantiated his report?
Never.
Okay. Judge, I don't have any further questions. This witness.
Redirect. I'm sorry, could you?
Talking to the microphone.
I had one other exhibit that I neglected to introduce.
All right, do you have any objection to him? Just, he has one more.
No,
text
asking
message.
questions, certainly not.
That's fine. Okay, go ahead. It would be 108, Mr. Carroll.
108, yes. Let me just, I'll do my cross and then or my
Redirect.
Mr. Bruch, the word unsubstantiated can be a difference of opinion in digital forensics, right? Correct?
I guess it would depend on how it applies.
And your statement that it's unsubstantiated was in conflict with your digital forensics expert statement that she was in control of her devices on the FetLife communications, correct?
I don't know that I agree with part of that statement.
Okay, which part?
So there was a conclusion that Christine Banfield was always in the possession of her devices. The crime scene definitively demonstrates
relating to
that to
FetLife,
be
which is what she
incorrect.
asked. The question was relating to FetLife.
So could you repeat the question?
So you want me to go all the way back to the difference between unsubstantiated and what?
No, the part where you're bridging of unsubstantiated with the FetLife.
Yeah, that was the question that you were asked by Ms. Sands. And so what I'm asking is, you've indicated that it was unsubstantiated. I'm assuming as to the question as to the FetLife communications, correct?
That's what Ms. Sands asked me, correct?
Yes. And so I think your answer was you were talking about generally the statement in his executive summary that she had not relinquished any of her devices. Is that what you were talking about?
Well, those are two different things. I answered Ms. Sands' question, which would be that, yes, his deduction that Christine Banfield was communicating with Joe Ryan was not only actually unsubstantiated, it was wrong.
Well, so what did you look at to reach the conclusion that it was unsubstantiated? What digital forensics did you look at?
So going back to my education and being a master's in computer forensics, you never attribute a device and or a username to a person.
Okay, and is that what you're relying on to make that point?
With regards to Ms. Sands' question, yes.
So that's not supported by any review of the items that were extracted from the 60 different devices that he did?
Well, by happenstance, it is unsubstantiated. Unless Detective Miller was sitting next to Anastasia or Taco Supreme, he could never attribute whomever was talking on those devices.
And so what your position is that you're not going to believe that you can conclude someone's control of the devices unless you have a video or you have someone who was watching it?
It just would be forensically incorrect to make that conclusion.
But digital forensics makes that conclusion.
Objection, counsel's arguing.
I'll sustain that objection.
Okay. Sir, I'm going to show you what will be marked as Defense Exhibit 108. You recognize that?
He mentioned tacos right before.
Yes, I did.
And do you recall the date?
I believe that's going to be October 25th. Is that correct?
Yes. It doesn't say, but if you recall it that way, that's
consistent with my communication with Lieutenant Giasio on the date of the proffer.
Okay. And is it your understanding that he was in a separate room outside of the proffer? And you were communicating with him?
I wasn't on site. I don't feel comfortable answering that question.
You don't know personally?
I don't.
Okay. But it was while it was going on, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And is this the communication with Lieutenant Giasio?
This was my communication, as I recall it, with Lieutenant Giasio.
Your Honor, Defense Exhibit 108, we'll ID it.
It's identified as 108.
They might be done here.
Were you also involved in the transfer of Kyle Bryant, the lead detective?
Yes, sir.
And was that due to his performance?
Performance due to inexperience, as well as the phrase I would use, I believe he was in over his head as a homicide detective.
Okay, and so Miller, so from the group that was in place in October, Detective Brendan Miller was transferred.
He was transferred, I believe, in November.
Okay. And then Detective Bryant, who was the lead homicide detective in this case, was transferred.
He was transferred in January of 2025.
And that was as a result of your deciding he had to go?
I just didn't believe he was experienced for the homicide squad.
So you transferred?
He was transferred to the sex crimes unit.
Okay. And
see a pattern there?
In that same time frame, you were transferred, correct?
I was transferred in February of 2025.
And Lieutenant Giasio was transferred?
Correct.
During the same time frame?
Right around that same time frame.
Okay. I don't have any further questions, John.
All right. Based on Exhibit 108, did you have any questions? Since that was a new.
No, but it was not offered into evidence yet.
No, it's just
so,
ID'd.
Yes.
Okay. Is this witness subject to recall?
Yes.
Not by the Commonwealth.
No. Are you free to go then?
Thank you.
All right. Your next witness.
I see Deer Park Water on the desk.
Giasio.
That's basically like staying at a Holiday Inn Express last night, so maybe we've got good things to come for the defense attorney. Deer Park Water, not a sponsor yet. Deer Park, reach out. We're willing to talk. Have your people talk to my people. Well, Miss Princess Me, people who agreed and disagreed were transferred, or the people who disagreed were transferred, and the people who transferred them got transferred. It can be looked at two ways. I reached out to them. It's been a year. They haven't responded. So that was redirect plus a little extra on there. Because he forgot about one more document. But Mr. Bruce is done.
Do you swear or affirm to testify truthfully in this case on a penalty of law?
Magistrate, I do like it.
Good afternoon, sir. Can you please state your name and spell your name for the court reporter?
Lieutenant David Giasio, Giaccio.
Giascio, we've got some text messages.
Stationed?
The Sully District Station.
Okay. And where were you prior to the Sully District Station?
The homicide unit.
Okay. And you were lieutenant there?
Yes.
Was that under, at one point, Deputy Chief Bruce?
Yes.
Okay. Or actually, during the entire time you were there was under?
During the entirety of the time I was there.
Because he transferred as well, correct?
I'm sorry?
Because he had transferred around the same time you did.
Yeah, I think about a month before I arrived, he was there.
Okay. I am going to ask you to identify what has been marked and introduced as Defense Exhibit 88.
It's just been marked, not introduced. But
Oh, sorry. I thought 88 was.
Oh, 88 is, you're right. 88 is in evidence.
Do you recognize that?
It's an email.
Okay. And what's your role in this email?
Without context, it's hard to say. I think it has to do with an executive summary that I was having Detective Miller review.
Okay, so is that the executive summary right there? Was that the attachment?
I believe so.
Okay. Well, during that time frame, perhaps you can recall, during the time frame of November 8th, were you communicating with Sergeant Brian Ames then?
Yes, I was.
Okay, and you were communicating about the digital forensic executive summary?
That's correct.
Okay. Your Honor, I think that's in evidence.
That's in
Can
evidence.
we publish that? Is it already?
It's already been published.
Okay,
If it's in
thank you.
evidence, we publish it.
Sir, I'm going to have you look at what has been marked as and moved into evidence as number 89. Does that give you more context in identifying it?
Yes, I believe this was after the co-defendant in this case came in for a proffer. And those attachments or links, I guess would be the better term, at the bottom are links to the attachment or to the body worn camera that was used to record that proffer. There were two parts.
Okay, and in this instance, you went to Brian Ames with the two proffers, correct?
That's correct.
And was there a phone call that went along this? Where did he get his direction from?
I don't recall. I think we talked, I don't remember if it was a phone call or an in-person conversation, but after the proffer, we had a conversation about some of the forensics reports and the need to revisit them.
Okay, and the need to change them, correct?
No, sir.
Okay. Was there an attempt to update, sorry, I'll leave that there so you can see it. Was there an attempt to update the digital forensics based on the proffers that you sent?
So we had a meeting, I think it was after these emails, there was a meeting set up with Sergeant Ames and the two Brendan Millers. They names are slightly different, but they work in the same unit to go over the basically all the digital forensics and to understand why they came to certain conclusions previously and understand how the evidence was correctly, would have been correctly analyzed.
Okay, and that was entirely based upon the proffer of Juliana Perez Maglais?
I think it was partially based on it. I think there was some question about the analysis from the leadership, both me and above me, prior to that.
Are you talking about Deputy Chief Bruce?
Yeah, he would be one of the people, yes.
Okay, and so, well, I guess, so what you're saying is that you analyzed the digital forensics and you arrived at a different conclusion than your expert?
So I reviewed the data, and I think the data is what the data is. I think the context and how you analyze what it may mean is different.
Okay, and so you were looking at the more the conclusions?
I would say the logic used to arrive at certain conclusions.
Okay. And this is with Brendan Miller's report?
Correct.
The executive summary?
That's one of them, yeah.
Okay. And did you ever talk to Brendan Miller and have him show his work?
Yes.
How many times did you do that?
Several.
Okay. And when you were doing that, were you trying to get him to change?
Not the data, the analysis.
Okay.
And I wouldn't say change, I would say to understand what I was seeing.
So Miller was saying Christine was using her device
Did you
to do all
order
these.
this email?
What number is this?
This is actually, sorry, 90.
90,
And
so
it's
it is
been
evidence.
introduced, yes.
Thank you.
I'm not aware of this email now.
Okay. I think it might have been the day before.
Well, yeah, some of it, obviously, the one I sent, I'm aware of. The one at the top, I assumed is what you were speaking about. I'm not aware of that one.
Okay. And is it accurate in terms of how he characterizes it?
Judge, the witness just indicated he's not aware of the document.
He's aware of the bottom part, I think is what he said. So if you want to direct your questions to that.
Well, I think I can ask him questions, Judge, about whether the body of it is accurate, whether it's being communicated properly.
What, if he recognizes it? He said he didn't recognize it, so I'll sustain that objection.
Do you recognize the content of what's being sent?
I'm not sure what you're asking.
The body of.
I mean, I can read it. If that's what you're, I can read it and understand.
Does that sound like what you said to him?
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate.
Okay. Sir, I'm going to ask you to identify what has been, or look at what has been identified as Defense Exhibit 90.
No,
Nope.
Oh, sorry, 91.
This is 91, which is
Yes,
not in
91,
evidence.
Sorry.
Yet. This might be the text exchange
So
between him
I'd
and the
be
previous
most
witness.
interested in you looking at this area down here. Is that something that you created?
Oh, it's an email.
I wrote that email, yes.
Okay. And Your Honor, I move this in as Defense Exhibit 91.
Any objection?
I can have the court's indulgence for 1 second.
Yes, ma'am.
State's looking for an objection somewhere. Looking for hearsay.
No objection.
All right, 91 in evidence.
Now
Help
it's
us
in.
it, or it goes away.
Now I'm going to go through a series of communications where it's multiple people. And so what I'm going to ask you is whether or not you recognize the communication and whether you're involved in the communication.
Okay.
Okay. So this would be exhibit number 92. Do you see that?
He's reading it, so yes.
Yes.
And does that look like the communication that you were involved with?
Yes, I believe the blue bubbles are mine.
Okay. We still don't have the third person, so I'm just going to identify that, Judge.
That's still 92.
92.
When we get that third person in, then we get all the messages. The state's been fighting to keep him out, but defense is whittling away at the objections.
Sir, do you recognize that text message chain?
I do.
And are you involved in that?
That's my, in blue as well.
I'm sorry, in the blue?
The blue is my text, yes.
Thank you.
These were extractions from his device then, or something turned over from his device.
Do you recognize that message? That would be Exhibit 93.
It's exhibit 94.
This is 94.
94. I apologize, Judge. 94.
Yes.
Okay, and that's a communication that you remember?
I do.
And it looks as though it's Patrick Bruch is one, and who's the other one?
Sally Fayez.
Okay, and Sally Fayez is, what's her position within?
She's the director of the Victim Services Department or unit.
Are you a direct report for her?
I'm not sure what you're.
Am I speaking in, is she or do you directly report to her?
No, I never have.
Okay. Who did you directly report to while you were in homicide?
Well, I had, I guess, Captain John Bobel, Major Dan Spital, and Deputy Chief Patrick Bruch.
Okay. Did you have any privilege to report directly to Patrick Bruch when he was Deputy Chief?
For the purpose of this case, he was my primary report.
Okay, so it would just be the two of you communicating, much like these messages?
I mean, the other commanders were part of it, but he was the primary person that I reported to.
Sir, I'm going to ask you to identify if you are involved in this, if you are involved in this, which is a Defense Exhibit 95.
95.
Yes, I believe that's my text in blue as well.
Okay. And do you remember this day?
I believe that was the day after the arrest of the defendant.
Okay. Thank you. Sir, do you recognize this has been identified as Defense Exhibit 96?
97? We're on 96. No, we're just on 95.
96, right?
Yes. Do you recognize that?
I do.
And that's just a direct message between you and Patrick Bruce.
That's correct.
Okay. And do you remember the context of it based on looking at it?
That was on the eve of the preliminary hearing for the co-defendant.
Your Honor, I'd move this in as Defense Exhibit 96.
Any objection?
No objection.
96 in evidence can be published.
And so you're in blue again, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and Big Day, you're speaking of what you just said, which is the preliminary hearing?
Correct.
Okay, and you reference Klingon? Are you
Yes.
talking about Eric Klingon, the prosecutor?
Yes, sir.
Okay, he was the prosecutor on this case back then, correct?
Yes, he was.
Ooh.
And what just describe for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what's the communication about?
Your Honor, if counsel is asking the witness to read it, I would object. It has not yet been moved into evidence.
Why are
He
we
asked
seeing
him what it's about, so I'll overrule the objection.
You can go ahead and answer.
It's about being nervous for the preliminary hearing.
Okay, and that's between you and Deputy Chief Bruce?
Correct.
Okay, were you directly involved in the preliminary hearing that day?
No.
Why are we
Okay.
seeing it if it's not evidence?
And was that the day of the hearing?
I believe it's the evening before, or the evening before.
Okay.
Good work,
The
kid.
preliminary hearing was on April 1st?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Are you
and
nervous?
were you involved in the preparation? Is that why you're privy to that?
Well, I was the supervisor. I'm sorry. Oh, closer. Sorry, it sounds loud to me. I'm sorry, can you repeat the questions?
Were you directly involved with the preparation for the preliminary hearing?
Yeah, I mean, I was the supervisor of the homicide unit.
Okay, but you didn't have any investigatory role in this?
No, in this case, I wasn't involved in any interviews. I didn't collect any evidence. I simply oversaw the investigation starting in, I think, early March 2024, so about 13 months after the murder.
Okay. Is it customary for lieutenants not to be involved in any of those things?
At the time, I was a sergeant, but yeah, I think that's fairly normal. The detectives do the investigating, the supervisor oversees it.
Would there be any other reasons why you couldn't prepare for the hearing?
No.
Were you on the Brady list at that time?
Objection is to relevance.
Overruled.
Allow it.
I'm not aware that anybody keeps a Brady list, but the Commonwealth has told me that they make certain disclosures about an investigation where I allowed an employee who had a brain tumor to stay home on light duty at the direction of a commander.
Okay. And so that was one instance when you were put on the Brady list. Have you been put on the Brady list on other occasions?
No.
Objection is to relevance.
Overruled, he answered no.
And the Brady list essentially, well, you tell me, what is the Brady list?
Well, like I said, I don't think there's a Brady list, but the Commonwealth makes disclosures based on opinions that they form about a case.
And the underlying finding is truthfulness, correct?
No.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, there's comment in here about catfishing. Was that a concern on March 30th, 2024 amongst you and Deputy Chief Bruce?
Was catfishing?
There's a comment here. I'm just trying to get the context of that.
So based on the evidence, I think that after I reviewed it, just about a month in, I believe that it was overwhelming that this was a catfish. I think the term has been used kind of across the board now. That was set up by the defendant, yes.
Okay, and after doing 1 month's worth of work as a lieutenant, you were able to arrive at that conclusion?
I was a sergeant at the time, but yes.
Okay, and describe for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what were your digital forensics qualifications in order to arrive at that conclusion?
Well, I reviewed sort of the evidence that was provided to me by the digital forensics people. You know, for instance, the accounts were created in January. They had never, you know, they were brand new accounts. That was unusual to me. We reviewed Christine's history. I think it went back to the mid-2000s. She had never so much as visited a porn site that we could find. So I thought that was...
I guess my question was about the digital forensics.
Well, I think reviewing her digital footprint, there was no evidence of that. There were 2 occasions where the co-defendants were out of town for 48 to 36 hours, and none of the accounts, the CB 920 at Gmail wasn't used, the FetLife account wasn't used, the Telegram account wasn't used. It seemed unusual to me that that wouldn't happen while they were out of the house.
So if I can, let me just redirect you back to digital forensics.
Well, this is all part of the digital evidence, right? So,
not your opinion as to whether or not it's unusual if they're in or out of town.
That's not. You ask your next question.
Yes. In terms of catfishing, that was a theory that you were pushing, correct?
That I was
pushing.
It's what I believe the evidence overwhelmingly supported, yes.
And you then attempted to educate the homicide detectives.
Objection, leading.
All right, I'll stay in this lead.
What, if anything, did you do with the homicide detectives in order to convince them of your theory?
We reviewed the evidence many times between March and September. However, it wasn't until the co-defendant came into proffer that everybody was in agreement that the catfish was the actual correct.
Okay, so once again, it was the co-defendant, not the digital forensics, that caused that conclusion, correct?
That's not my opinion, no.
Okay. Okay. I don't have any further questions on that.
That's a pretty sound advice or analysis when he says,
"Sir, I'm going
to
have
use
you
it while they were out of town."
Look at what will be marked as 98, Defense Exhibit 97.
No.
It's 97.
97?
It's 97, correct.
You see that, sir?
Yes.
Okay. And in that, this is between you and Deputy Chief Bruce, is that right?
It is.
Okay. And there's some concern about losing the probable cause hearing, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So question for Your Honor, I'd move that into evidence.
All right, any objection, 97?
Yes, Judge, our previous witness did not identify that as his information, so it stands as hearsay.
It's kind of a follow-on of 96, it just keeps going down, so I'll overrule the objection on 97 in evidence.
Is this communication with Patrick Bruce?
It is.
Okay. And in here, there's discussion about the prosecutor's plan, correct?
Yes.
And And are you in the blue or the gray?
Blue.
Okay. And there's something about a fail-safe that's been put in place. What's that?
We had evidence that the co-defendant may have misrepresented things on her visa application. And I think Customs and Border Protection had planned to investigate that and potentially arrest her for it.
Okay, so if the preliminary hearing didn't go well, you wanted to get a hold of her immediately afterwards.
Correct.
So if the preliminary hearing hadn't gone well, just for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the case would have been dismissed.
Correct.
And then she would have been released.
Judge, counsel's testifying.
Status of leading.
Sir, what would have happened if the preliminary hearing had been dismissed?
The co-defendant would be released.
And so the fail-safe was to have Customs and Border Patrol there to grab her?
Correct.
Okay, so come to the jail before she's released.
I think they were planning on getting arrest warrants. I'm not fully read into what their plan was.
And was this a plan between you and then Deputy Chief Bruce, or was this a plan amongst everyone involved?
It was the detectives on the task force that was created that set it up.
Okay. And so who else would have known about the fail-safe?
Detective Bryant, Detective Goodell, and Detective Smith, I think, was still pretty well involved at that point.
Was Detective Bryant the chief detective at that time?
He was the lead detective, yes.
Okay. And Detective Goodell was another co-lead detective?
Correct.
And was Detective Smith a lead detective, or she?
Yeah, so essentially when I arrived, Detective Bryant had been the lead for the first year or so. I think at some point prior to my arrival, Detective Smith had been assigned to help him. And then once I got there, I assigned Detective Goodell. So there was 3 detectives plus myself that were reviewing all the evidence.
Okay. Okay, am I?
Lunchtime, Judge.
Did you say in a prior statement that as a lieutenant, you wouldn't review all the evidence?
No, I would absolutely review the evidence. I wouldn't take part directly in the investigation. I didn't interview witness, collect evidence, or have any real direct involvement, just in reviewing and advocating for investigative leads.
And Your Honor, I'm sorry, 97 was moved into evidence?
97 is in evidence.
Okay, and that's the jury it's been published. Okay, thank you.
It's a good time for a break, Judge. What do you think? It's 12:55. Lunch is just around the corner.
Sir, can you see that communication?
Yes.
Is that the communication with Patrick Bruce?
Yes.
And this is from November 8th, correct?
Yes.
Okay, do you recognize this?
I do.
And you're in blue?
Correct.
You're going to move this in as Commonwealth's Exhibit number 98?
Judge, I'll renew the objection that former Deputy Chief Bruce could not identify this item.
On this one, he could not identify.
I think the witness just identified him.
All right.
Correct, but the witness indicates based on the document
I'm going to
itself.
sustain the objection since he testified that he did not recall it. So I'll sustain the objection.
Okay. Sir, in the blue box, you indicate that you did something. What is that?
I used the words markup. Took a red pen. What I did was highlight in red on a document.
And did you actually take a pen?
No, it was the red. I changed the font to red rather than black.
Okay. And the document that you were referring to there, What document was that?
It was the executive summary prepared by Detective Miller.
Okay. Your Honor, may we approach on 98?
Sure.
So they're going to approach right here and talk this one over just a little bit. See if we get to get more. The state is fighting it, but some of these are coming in over their objection, these messages. Just wanted to show you, see if I can. Actually, let me put box 4 is 2. Box 3 is off. Hang on one sec. Got an idea. Here we go. Now I can show you my printer as it prints. How about that? And it promptly freezes. I'll fix it. I'm getting, part of this is I'm getting the sense that this is a nothing burger. The defense is trying to make this into something that's not. Judge calls lunch break. What?
Your Honor, if I may, I also had 106.
I had 106. I put that on his.
Okay, and 107. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm printing another one of these belt clips with some modifications.
Sir, do you identify what's been marked as Defense Exhibit 100?
Yes, it's a text message.
And that's between you and Patrick Bruce?
It is.
Are you in the blue box or the gray box?
Blue.
Okay, Your Honor, I'd move that into evidence. as
No objection.
Comments
100 in
Exhibit
evidence.
100.
The state says no objection, but they're not happy about it.
So what, if anything, did you do when you were told to hold off on bringing Klingon and Kelsey into the loop?
I don't remember specifically, but I would imagine I held off on giving them a call.
Okay. And who, for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, who's Klingon and who's Kelsey?
They were the prosecutors assigned at the time.
Okay. And do you recall when it was that you put them in the loop after this statement?
I'm sure within 24 hours. I don't recall exactly.
Do you have any recollection?
No, I don't recall, but it was definitely not for any extended period of time.
Okay, and this looks like it was something that might jog your memory. It was relating to Celebrite Task Force. Do you have any recollection when it was that you would have told the prosecutors in this case, whatever the conclusion was?
Judge, I think that's a mischaracterization of the evidence.
If you want to rephrase your question.
Was the information that you're holding off on relating to the task force meeting at Celebrite?
I believe it was the blood inside Juliana's shoes and Brendan's pants.
Okay, and so how long did it take for you to communicate that to the prosecution team?
Like I said, I don't remember exactly, but it would be something that I would bring them up to speed on within a short period.
Okay, but you don't remember if you did?
I'm sorry?
But you don't remember if you did?
I certainly remember that they're aware of it. I just don't know exactly what that time frame was, but I would guess within 24 hours.
Thank you.
Mr. Carroll, would this be a good time to go ahead and take our lunch break?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll go ahead and take our lunch break for an hour. Please do not discuss the case with anybody and don't do any outside research, okay? Thank you.
Thanks to all those who liked the stream. We are just almost to 1,000.
Saka at 1:30. So
If there were just a handful more of you who'd click the like button while you're here before we go to lunch, we would reach our goal of 1,000 likes per stream. Of course, we'll ask you to do it one more time when we start after lunch, which will be about 2 o'clock.
The prosecution or the defense at this time, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And we'll be back. Let's go at 2:05, okay? 2:05. All right.
Very stern and alert looking bailiff there.
Court's recess until 2:05.
Court's recess till 2:05. Stomp, stomp, stomp. The mics are still hot. 10 more of you hit the like button, we'll hit our goal. So we'll do that in the next 5 seconds. 5, 4, bingo, we hit it. Got it. 1,000 on the button. Yay. All right, thank you all. Are they going to leave the mics on at lunch?
Hi.
I'm going to sustain my own objection.
No, they're off. Okay. All right. So here's my take really quickly. Turn off Do Not Disturb. Sorry. The defense is trying to make a big deal out of something that is a small deal, but it is a deal, right? It's not a deal killer. It sort of is. It's a little more than office politics because it was surrounding this particular case. It's a disagreement. It's something that happened, and they're trying to draw things and include it in this molehill to make it into a mountain, like this guy's Brady violation for letting a worker who was sick work from home that he shouldn't have, and probably lying about it. They're trying to wrap that all into some big grand conspiracy. I don't see it yet. I don't see it. It might show up, but this looks to be just the internal workings of an investigation as dirty. It's the making of the sausage, right? You don't want to know how it's made. It's just when it's all done, it looks good. I don't think it taints the investigation at this point. So maybe there's a little more that will come down the line that might sway me to that direction. Katie Bug, gifted membership. Thank you very much, Katie Bug, for your generosity. Just joined us while we're going to lunch. My professional field work is HR, so I'm looking forward to watching this morning's testimony from that perspective, trying to read between the answers for the truth. I think we can see that we have a bunch of what I consider hostile witnesses called by the defense, and they are hedging. They're not forthcoming. They're not trying to be helpful to the person who is asking the questions. I think they know what is being asked of them, and they're being as careful as they can to say as little as possible. So to comply, but not to help. And that's what we have right now. So I wish defense would ask the judge that he can treat them like hostile witnesses, which would allow him to lead. The important part about leading is you can narrow it down to a very specific answer. You can say, given this, what about that? He has to be careful not to testify, but I think he should be able to lead with some of these people who clearly are, in my opinion, hostile witnesses. All right, Bug Dugger, thank you very much. Thank you for explaining this case because I'm so lost. We have defense. The defense has spent zero time saying it wasn't our guy. He didn't do this. They've spent their entire time saying the police were dirty and Juliana had reason to lie. That's all we've seen from the defense. So that's their whole push. It was interesting to see the little text message right before we left. Blood in Juliana's shoes and on Brendan's pants. It's game over for them, basically. The police basically saying if the blood got in her shoe, they would have been there when it was transferred around, which means they're present for the killing. That's game over. I think that's the thought process behind that. But I do agree that the defense tried to make it sound like it was Juliana recanting her story that caused the change in in the prosecution that caused them to charge Brendan. I am seeing the blood work seems to be the big change. The blood work coming back was that factor. So, all right. I think that's all. Bug Duggar, thank you very much. Appreciate it for your generosity. Not dirty, just fitting their evidence to the proffer, in my opinion. Maybe not the best way to do it, but I don't think it's wrong. Totally understand your POV. Defense could do that, but it's his decision to make and card to play. He's an amateur. I don't know. I think he's doing a good job. I think Brendan is happy with the job the defense is doing. This seems to be in line with what he wanted. So they're working together. He's taking notes. They're collaborating. So defense is happy with the defense so far. Nothing nefarious. I think that's where I'm at right now. I'm keeping my mind open. There could be some evidence that comes out that looks really shady. And if that's the case, I reserve the right to change my mind. All right, we're going to come back at 2 o'clock, which will give us 5 minutes, so we cannot be late, right? We have 55 minutes for lunch. We'll be back at 2 o'clock. We're going to continue. We've got a portal open already. Greeners was first in chat. He typed the whole alphabet in before anyone else said anything else in chat. Thank you very much. Tonight when you go home, please hug the people you love, smile at someone, make their day just a little bit better. Please stay safe and warm until we go live again this afternoon in just under an hour. Have a good lunch. I think I might be sent to the store. Mrs. R.A. is panicking, and I think rightfully so. So, y'all are amazing. Let's see. I'm just going to give you the update on the 3D printer, see if I can show you what it's doing. Hold, please. I'm trying to load my camera. It's a little bit slow. Says not today. I'm printing another one of these clips. Oh, there we go. Let's take that. Printing another one of these clips. It takes about 45 minutes to print the whole thing, so it's starting to come together. You're starting to see the backside right there. But, by the time lunch is over, that'll be done. I'll show you what it looks like if it worked. Check burner for phone for camera tip. Okay, I'll do that. All right, we've said the outro already, so you guys be good to each other. We'll have a good lunch. Stay warm. Get your supplies if you know you need some. I say that because I know I need some. I need to go to the store. We'll see you guys after lunch. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. You're my new best friend.